for? There it is. Oh no, we are on 23. All right. Now we're set. Okay. So, left off last week. Anybody? Crickets? Anyone want to recap?
Does anybody want to what?
Give me a recap. What happened last week?
We found a new friend.
Hmm.
And the local bigots had a disagreement to that.
What's the name of the town we're in? Everlund or something like that?
Yes.
Yep.
Everlund. I haven't heard Nick yet.
Yeah, we wound up porting out of Shadowfell, pretty much directly outside of Everlund here. Stayed the night, or we went in with the intention to stay the night. Came to, don't remember the name of the inn.
The
Perfect bow.
Yep.
The Perfect Bow. Okay. Yeah, we went in, got food, got drinks. Mongo cozied up to the biggest outcast in the bar. Called the rest of us over. Once we came over, a bunch of dwarves and their short, fat human friend came over, decided to try and throw us out. Bristol provoked them into a fight. They brought blades to a fist fight. And we wound up pretty much murdering all of them except for one that managed to run out. And we are currently on our way out now. Basically being thrown out by the goblin bartenders, Stink.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's where we left off, I believe.
2 of them made it away.
2 of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah. Oh, and yeah, this was kind of said in chat before. I think Tashik was gone, so Brahm kind of played his character. Christian kind of played his character for him. Kind of took out one guy, took out the last guy pretty handedly, but also kind of blew a hole in the tavern wall in the process.
At least we didn't knock down any tables like the guys we were fighting. That's just unforgivable.
So are we still inside the bar or are we outside the bar?
I mean, unless you guys intentionally stayed inside after Stink told you to get the fuck out. I'd imagine
Yeah, we
you were
made it
just
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made it outside because Rissel dragged out the head asshole, looted him, and then stuck his sword inside of him as a message. But then Naren went behind his back and took the sword.
This reminds me, we just killed a bunch of people. We should probably, lay a little low. I have a plan for this. We're going to walk to the other side of town. I'm going to use disguise self, walk in just as a normal person, get us some rooms. When I come back out, we're all just going to go in. And it's going to be great. No one's going to know who we are or that any guards may or may not be looking for us. It's going to be great.
So the hope is basically go to a different place that they don't know you.
Yeah. One at least, down the street, like 3 houses down or something.
Right.
But honestly, more like all the way across the town.
As far away as you safely can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
What does everyone think?
Sounds like a plan, unless we want to get out of town. If we think that there could be negative repercussions for the activities.
Yeah, we could always just camp somewhere.
That might be a better idea.
Well, Travis.
Yeah.
There was some discussion after the last session about the population distribution.
Right. I
Are you
adjusted the
gonna-
numbers a little bit. If you look in the handout under like locations, it'll give the current numbers. It's about 22. Or so populations, you're looking about 4,000 to 5,000. Little over half of or almost half of that is human. Right behind that is dwarf. And then goblins, and then pretty much everything else kind of falls under. There's only so most of the people you're going to see here are human and dwarf. Even
Okay.
the humans look kind of dwarfy.
That lends credence to the plan of getting out of town, because no matter where we go in town, we kind of stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So Rockmon's gonna take a quick look at the hole that he made in the wall, and decide that was a bit excessive. So he's gonna just zip back in real quick and give the bartender 50 silver to help pay for that, and then he'll head back out.
Well, the bartender got paid.
Yeah, but I don't know if he got paid for having a hole blasted in his wall.
Well, I gave him 17 gold, and somebody else gave him money as well.
Yeah, you guys did give him quite a bit of money before you got the hell out.
All right. Well, if we think we gave him enough to cover the expense, then I guess I won't do that.
'Cause I gave him 9 gold and 80 silver.
Yeah.
So,
This is a relatively small to medium sized town, and this is a wooden inn. I don't think he's gonna have a problem affecting repairs with those funds.
well, I mean,
Al-
you're in a dwarf town.
Although he's forming a new business enterprise. Bar fights are us. How to make money? How to make money hosting bar fights.
Turns out the entire underground fight scene isn't actually for fighting, it's just to keep people like this party from blowing holes in walls.
Yeah, so Rissel is firmly of the idea that we just go ahead and move on out the other side of this town on towards Hammerfell.
Let's get to moving.
So it sounds like the consensus seems to be not hang around, get the hell out of town, and camp on the road.
Yeah, we don't have a particular purpose to be here.
Right.
It's just happened to be where we landed.
Yeah, exactly.
We can maybe get provisions on our way out.
And I mean, you guys are right there, fairly close to the first gate, anyway. I mean, you could just turn back around and head back out.
Well, I'm thinking we go through the town so that we don't have to swim across the river.
Oh, okay.
You do a little 5-finger shopping.
Aaron.
Aaron might think of that. 5-finger acquisitions.
I mean, it's nighttime anyway, right?
It's getting on the end of the day, yeah.
I don't
Right
think
now,
we're going to
I'd-
find people open.
I'd say by now you're looking probably about dusk.
Yeah, no, shops are probably closed.
For the most part, yeah. A lot of the shops are kind of starting to close up. If they are still open, a lot of them are kind of closing up.
Well, Mago's meal was interrupted. Not saying we should stop, but I'm just saying Mago's meal was interrupted.
Yeah, we're not that far from Hammerfell that we can't go on trail rations for a bit.
And it's also one of those. I imagine every time you guys come back to town, you're doing the usual kind of restocking water, getting food, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or even
I
while you're
restock
out.
food every time we go into a forest.
That too. Like I said, Naren's kind of
Live
home in
off-
the forest. She's
live
used
off
to
the
living off the land.
Braum
Boring.
is generally picking up stuff on the road as well. Out of necessity.
A roadkill here, roadkill there.
I mean, barring like going into the desert or something like that, where you would have where resources are a bit more scarce. I imagine you guys are just kind of, for the most part, living off the land. So that's why we don't really track resources too much on it. But sounds like instead you guys want to hit the road.
Mhm.
Let's see. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Here we go. So you're in Everlund. You're outside of Everlund right now. Hammerfell. If you're camping outside, you're looking probably about a day's walk from Everlund to Hammerfell. If you really, barring any major issues, because you got about 50, 60 miles. So it'd be about a day's walk just to get there.
Nobody in the party comes from this area, so we can't tell if it's something that we need to climb a tree at night to stay away from the beasties, or
Naren ain't climbing no trees.
Let's see.
Like nature, history, see what we know about the area.
That's
Survival?
what I'm thinking. Let me see here. Hold on. Oh, let me bring up the character sheet and I can look at some stats.
take a look at the city we just came out of. How the walls look.
Looking at the walls on Everlund, it's a little weird. So Everlund's kind of built almost on, not necessarily on a plateau, but it is on higher ground, so it makes the walls even taller. There's a little bit of a slope kind of coming up to it.
Okay.
The walls
do
themselves
they look like they're
are,
regularly assaulted, or do they look like they were put up as a formality, or?
it looks to be kind of like a wooden palisade, almost like the spikes kind of driven into the ground kind of thing. They do have a fairly decent guard presence, but nothing you wouldn't necessarily expect on a city this size. You don't see like burned sections of the wall or anything. It doesn't look like they're attacked en masse or in force, at least not very often. Let's see. Give me. What were you guys looking for? Just like what kind of things to expect at night, or were you just looking for like somewhere to sleep, or? Let's see. Give me a nature check.
I got a -1 on nature, so I'm not rolling.
I have a 1.
Well, that's 2 more than Mongo.
Checking to see what I have. I don't remember. I'm sure it's
I
not good
have a
though.
big fat 0.
Sounds like it's Braum.
How about 7?
Yeah, I think 7.
For nature,
Oh no, that's intellect.
7 actually has a 4.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
But
Rockman did well.
But yeah, it would make more sense that Rockman would know than 7, since 7 only remembers being in the Margrave.
it's true.
Rockman, on the other hand, for the Iron Crags, maybe necessarily like in his research or in his travels, something like that, Rockman would have heard essentially the Iron Crags. The dwarves tend to keep a lot of the wild creatures kind of more or less under control, especially on the roads. You're probably more likely to see Obviously, a lot of dwarves, maybe even the occasional rare duger. For wild animals, you're looking probably more things. Harpies would be pretty common, or not necessarily common, but if you get up into the peaks, you're looking at harpies, and then your standard wolves and beasts and things like that.
Okay, well, he would inform everybody of that general information, saying it didn't sound like this shouldn't be too dangerous of an area. I think we can do all right on the road.
But it's mountainous, it's rocky, definitely not forest.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a change of pace for Naren and Seven, especially.
But that probably means we have a better view of things off in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're above us.
Yeah, the Iron Crags have a lot of peaks and valleys, a lot of mountainous areas, a lot of lowlands. There are some sparse forests, but that's mostly more in like the valleys and lowlands where the water can actually kind of collect. Up top, I'd say you guys are probably more on the mountainside. You'd be looking more, if you're looking for somewhere to sleep, you're probably looking more for like a cave system or something like that. I mean, or you can just set up, you'd find occasional, if you're going higher up into the mountains, Hammerfell is actually, Hammerfell's a little odd in that it's actually the city itself is kind of built into the mountain. There is a little bit of an entranceway or an outer cordon of sorts for Hammerfell itself, but largely it's kind of built almost straight into the mountain. It's really not low in the mountain at all. It's partway up. So you're probably looking more. You would have some plateaus on the path side, maybe an occasional cave system or a minor cave that you could camp out in. Things like that.
I'll use my owl for scouting.
Give me give me survival, Naren.
Me?
Yeah. What kind of place do you find? A 10. Okay.
I've got a better survival than her.
Naren's the one that sent you a scouting, though. You'd be able to find for the 10. You'd find a fairly decent, like I say, not necessarily a cave system, but like a smaller, almost indentation into the cave. This little kind of short cave. It's fairly empty, and it'll keep you dry. It'll keep the rain off your head if anything comes in at night.
Until the bear comes back.
Mongo's got experience with bears.
But you guys are going to be pretty much camping for the night, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. And was anybody going to talk to Rule before you guys left town, or?
I mean, Risto already apologized for bothering the man and said we'd be on our way.
The only person I'd probably talk to in further would be Mongo.
Right.
Well, if Rule is coming along, Mongo's going to be telling him about all the stuff we've been doing.
I mean, unless you guys are going to like talk to him or convince him to come with you, Rule's heading out. He's going his own way.
Well, if he's looks like he's heading in that direction, Mongo would be inviting him to come along. Seems like a good man to have in a fight. On our side, in a fight.
Let's see. Let me pull up Rule.
Shall I roll for persuasion?
Let me see here. Let me find Rule again. Location. Here. So, I mean, as you guys are kind of, I mean, I suppose he would kind of follow you through town, again, wanting to more or less get away from, uh, get away from the tavern, and
Following the same strategy we are.
yeah, more or less. He'll more or less follow you through town. Like I said, unless somebody's specifically going to talk to him or invite him along, he's going to split off. It sounds like Mongo's going to kind of talk to him more or less as you guys are traveling through the city, right?
Yes.
So, as you guys are going through the city, then Rule would kind of look over to Mongo every now and then.
Yep.
Why are you
Be
guys...
telling him.
He would more or less ask, like, well, so what brought you guys to Everlund, to the Iron Crags here? Very much don't belong.
The lady Sarastra said that she'd take us as close as she could to Hammerfell to find out why the gates were shut.
So you want to find out, huh? It is a little odd that they've been closed up this long. But...
We like odd. Look at us.
Not the first time Hammerfell's closed up their gates.
What happened last time?
And he'll kind of he'll kind of look back and forth through the party. You know, I mean, typically it's only for a few weeks if they're developing something or creating something new. Last time it was closed, even remotely close to this long, and he'd kind of look over to Sevens. Gearforged came out.
Ooh.
They take their security seriously. I'll say that. Being closed this long. Well, I'm not alone in wondering what's going to come out of it this time.
Want to come along with us and find out?
Are you asking to hire me? Or?
No. Companions on the road. Oh, I should say friends on the road. That's three syllables. Companions has 3 syllables.
Give me a persuasion. No.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sure you guys are great, but I have to make a living somehow. And with that scene back there, it's going to take me a little bit to build up my goodwill again. Like I said, I'm just as interested in anybody else, but I don't see the profit in this, at least not yet.
So Rockmon will just say, well, we've been led to believe that there may be some value to finding out information about what's going on there. So if you, I don't know what it might be worth for sure, but there's some possibilities there.
What's his capacity for speculative investment? Shouldn't Rockman roll persuasion too?
He's gonna kind of look around the city And all the people kind of milling around. Fine. Tell you what, I'll go with you as far as as far as the gates. I'll go with you as far as the gates. Beyond that, hopefully by then things will have died down around here enough that I can safely rest my head a little bit, I suppose.
He said died down.
Well, that sounds terrific. We'd be happy to have you.
All right. All right.
At
so,
some point during that conversation, Rissel's going to try and catch Rule's eyes and just mouth, "I'm so sorry."
yeah, he would. I'd imagine eventually, like after a couple of attempts and going back and forth between Rockmon and Manga, he'd eventually notice Ristel and almost just, kind of that flat-eyed look. Yeah, thanks. Deception? Okay. Lying to him. Okay. What are you lying to him about?
Oh, I wasn't necessarily lying to him. I just thought you might. I don't know that we're necessarily going to get any real value out of going there. But
out of Hammerfell?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't remember anybody saying that they would pay us for anything about going there.
Yeah, me either. So
Nobody did. You guys are just like, word on the street is Hammerfell's been locked up a year and a half. Oh, I wonder what's over there.
Any great mystery has a potential for great profit.
We're adventurers. We just find money.
Yes.
Brom does.
We find and acquire
Or
money
find.
from
After we kill everybody.
Brom finds it in his pocket after Naren takes it.
I imagine it's like, well, look, it's a game. I mean, I just kill this guy. Hey, look, he generates money. It's like an ATM. I just have to kill it.
What is ATM?
But so a 10 survival. Yeah, you guys are gonna find it's kind of this plain cave. Not a whole lot. You'll kind of have to hunker in the back a little bit, but you'll be able to.
More or less an overhang.
Yeah, almost like a cliff kind of coming over an area. Yeah. It just kind of it's a natural small cave. But let's see. Yeah, you guys pretty much be able to rest through the night without much issue. Heading out the next morning, unless you guys want to do anything overnight. Unless you guys want to do anything overnight or anything like that. It doesn't sound like you do.
The only thing Rockmon wants to do is switch a couple of spells.
Yeah, like overnight on your long rest. Yeah, you'd be able to do that.
Yep.
Let's see.
Reset our long rest stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, heading out the next morning, sounds like.
We're scorching right for our breakfast.
Poor Ray. What'd he ever do to you?
Twice.
Heading out the next morning. Let me see here. Someone give me a D20. Just flat 20. 7. Okay.
Damn, that was fast.
I was waiting.
Heading out the next day. You guys are able to get up. Weather's it's a little overcast. I mean, it's just kind of one of those gray days. I mean, it's not really raining, but it's just kind of blah. Temperature's a little cooler. Not so bad that you would have to put on coats or anything. let's see. Time of the year is, what do we say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on the 22nd. This would be the 23rd of low summer. Roughly May, or May-like. The 23rd of low summer. Kind of almost one of those, like I said, it's just kind of one of those gray spring days. Temperatures, you're looking probably about mid-low 70s. Comfortable, but a little on the cool side. As you guys are kind of traveling along, you start to realize, like, travel through the Iron Crags is actually painfully slow. There are a lot of up and down hills. The occasional, as you're going, like, you'll be walking along a cliffside, and you'll come a spot where it's kind of washed out a little bit, or a mini rock slide has washed out part of the trail. It takes a little bit for you guys to kind of get over and back and forth across it. Eventually, the path you guys are kind of climbing up is about midday. This path you guys are going up is this. It's fairly tight. You almost have to go single file. You're going up this just kind of towering cliff face on your right side. Or, sorry, this towering cliff face on your left side, and this kind of almost dizzying canyon kind of on your right. It just looks like it drops down probably 50, 100 feet. Hard to really tell. You come around this bend, and in front of you, there's this crumpled body in the middle of the narrow road. From where you guys are at, looks to be probably the body of a dwarf. The ground around the body is just kind of wet with blood.
Bristol's gonna take a look around. He's gonna stop when he sees this, and he's gonna survey the area for an
Traps,
ambush.
ambush.
Brom got breakfast delivered.
So, Ristle's looking around, right? I see 21 and a 12. I'd say Ristle, you kind of look around. Brom and Ristle are both kind of looking around, and nobody. There doesn't seem to be anybody around. I mean, like I say, you kind of look up. The cliff above you looks to be about 50 feet. The valley below, like I said, it looks to be about 100 feet, 50, 75, 100 feet deep.
What does it look like got this guy? Swords, animals?
Give me a medicine check.
Flat D20.
1. And Brom's kind of looking at it like...
There's a body?
Well, I mean, looking at it, it looks to be a body. Brom kind of gets a little closer, and... Are you going to touch the body, or are you just kind of, like, looking at it?
Just kind of looking at it.
Okay. It's a little tough to tell, but it looks to probably be a female dwarf. Like I said, looking around, you see kind of a pool of kind of dried blood around the body, but you don't see like any slashes, or the armor doesn't look. The clothing she's wearing doesn't look to be cut.
Is she face down or face up?
Kind of face down, but you can't really tell anything. Let me see.
Bristol is going to find. He's going to try and find a branch.
I mean, like the 10-foot pole that Brom has.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to use the 10-foot pole?
Poke it with a stick strategy.
Sure.
I take out the 10-foot pole and I mend it piece by piece back together. Hand it to Ristel.
He's going to start poking the body just in case there's any kind of reaction, like something comes crawling out from under it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go keep an eye on the area.
Give me... Give me a D20.
Mm-hmm.
4.
Oof.
So you're gonna kind of poke this stick a couple of times, and nothing really seems to come out from it, or nothing like crawls out from it. But you're gonna kind of poke and poke and poke, and you're gonna do one of these things, and you're gonna go to kind of get a little bit more forceful with it. And you're gonna hear, ping, and you're gonna hit something solid, something metal. It doesn't seem to be armor.
Ristel will use the pole to roll over the body.
So okay,
Landmine.
Hmm?
The landmine.
So as you go to roll this body over, using the pole, give me a strength check.
Yeah, fuck. Oh, that's right. It's just flat.
Yes. Okay. Not 8. So because like you don't really have anything to kind of lever it against, you're just kind of trying to like force it over. It's a little tougher. She seems to be a little heavier than you expected. Just that whole moving dead weight kind of thing. Yeah, there's a reason for that. But it takes Ristel a second to kind of get her flipped over, but and you'll kind of flip her over, and you'll notice almost right away. You'll really notice there's this box kind of clutched in one arm. It seems to be that's what you ended up hitting. It's this small box, smaller box, looks to be made of this kind of dark iron. This brass latch and lock on the side of it.
Looking at the dwarf, is there anything on the front of her that kind of gives a clue as to what happened to her?
Give me a medicine check. 22.
Ooh.
Nice. Very nice.
Net 20, 22.
Uh-huh. Except that natural 20 and a natural 1 mean nothing for skill checks. Just you did either really well or really bad. So looking at her, you're going to notice you're going to notice a couple of things. First off, it looks like, looking at the front of her, her face is just kind of crushed, as if just something big and something solid hit her square in the face. Looking over the rest of her, Ristel's going to kind of look at this body and then look up and look back at this body, and he's going to kind of put it together. It looks like she probably fell from possibly a path above you or something, but she died from impact and the subsequent blood loss.
So the box that she had carrying in front of her embedded itself into her chest and so forth.
Yeah. It's like kind of one side. The reason why she was clutching this so tightly and it didn't come popping out was she kind of had it in her arms and almost cradled it. It looks like she kind of fell almost on it. He's also going to notice a couple of other things. First off, there's kind of this point kind of poking through almost the center of her chest. This kind of point poking through her clothing. And imagine if Ristel's kind of using the 10-foot pole to kind of poke around and examine her, it's going to look like the head of a crossbow bolt. As if it kind of came in from behind and between her shoulders and broke off, either on the landing or on the fall down. And the other thing he's going to notice is kind of coming out from like one sleeve. He's gonna notice it almost coming up the neck. It looks to be some kind of branding mark, or the edges of a branding mark.
Bristol's gonna try and get a better look at that. Before he does, how well dressed is this dwarf?
not actually, really not that overly well dressed. It looks to be not necessarily to a point of like rags, but the clothes she's wearing, they're definitely threadbare. You can see kind of they haven't been washed in a while. They're kind of dirty.
Commoner clothing.
Mm. Give me insight, Bristol.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's right. I said it after or as you were rolling. So 16. Yeah, these look to be lower than. They look like they were probably kind of common clothes at one point, but they haven't been changed in a while. Like even a commoner, this would be low even for a commoner, but not necessarily to the point of like rags. But these are definitely threadbare, dirty. She hasn't been able to take care of them in some time, months probably at least.
Okay. Yeah, with that in mind, Rissel's going to take a closer look at the brand. He's got his own theory about what happened to this dwarf by now, but yeah, let's take a look at that brand.
All right. So, like I said, it's kind of you almost notice just like the edge of it. So it's kind of underneath of like the collar, underneath the sleeve on her side. So you can't really get a very good look at it where you're at, but it is definitely one of those. Hey, that's something that looks that's not just like a birthmark.
Can Rissel like roll up the sleeve or kind of pull down the collar and see?
Okay. I was just checking because you've been using the 10-foot pole a lot.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get a little closer and actually kind of get hands on.
Yeah.
Okay. And you all die. No.
Roll for initiative.
The box explodes.
So you get a little closer. You get kind of hands on. You give Braum. I imagine you give Braum back his pole. He kind of breaks it and puts it back into the bag. And as you kind of roll the sleeve up, you get a much better look at this brand. Give me a history check.
Oh no.
14.
That's good.
So looking at this brand, it's you kind of look at it and it's, this. It doesn't. You're from the Cloudwell Mountains, so you don't necessarily. It doesn't really jump out. You've heard of things like this. This almost looks to be like a slave's brand. I said it's one of those, like, because you're in the Iron Crags, dwarves will often, there's the 10 years under the mountain thing, and different dwarven cantons, and even like some of the more independent groups, the more bandit-like groups, a lot of times they'll take slaves. The cantons often have like a thing called 10 years under the mountain. They'll take you, you'll be a slave for 10 years, and then they just release you. You're good. This woman, like I say, she looks to have a 10 years under the mountain brand, but you're not sure which canton it might be from. You're just not really familiar with the area.
Did Braum ever say to us that he's been around here?
I don't believe so. I think he mostly stuck to like Zobek, Margrave, and that area, right?
Well, I probably went up here
Okay.
Yeah,
in my travels.
I seem to remember a thing about Braum learning things from a dwarven master.
Mm-hmm.
I learned from a dwarven master in Zobek.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, I would let Braum roll a history as well.
Let's see, history.
16. Braum would kind of look at this and kind of thinking back to what the old master said. I forgot his name now, but this looks to be almost a brand from Hammerfell. Ones that they would give their slaves, their mine workers.
I let the party know. Nobody's opened the box yet, right?
No one said anything.
Yeah.
When I tell you that she's from Hammerfell, I say, I bet whatever's in that box is the reason she was killed. We should open it.
Yeah, Rissel's nodding pretty much the entire time he's saying that. And
The dwarf's name Pandora.
he's gonna kind of wrench the box from this dwarf's grasp. He's not gonna be terribly gentle about it. Like he was approaching this with caution at first, but there seems to be no threat at all, so no care taken.
So Ristel's gonna take this box, right?
Yes.
Okay. So as you kind of reach down, you kind of get your. It's a little tough because, like we said, it's not necessarily like embedded in her, but it is kind of jammed in up against her. It actually is kind of embedded in her a little bit. Like the ribs kind of broke around it a little bit.
Covered in gore.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty to pull it out. But as you kind of put your hands on it, like I said, it's this box. It looks to be made out of some kind of like dark iron. But as you kind of grasp it, it's almost icy cold to the touch. And as you go to kind of pull this box out, give me.
Yeah, everybody roll initiative.
Give me a raw strength. 9. Okay. So yeah, you kind of it takes a second, just and there's this almost sucking sound, just.
Oh.
And you start to realize, oh, this was kind of embedded in your chest. And as you're kind of pulling it out, it sounds like the ribs had kind of punctured the lung, and this was acting as almost a seal. So you kind of, there's this horrible sucking sound, and it'll almost give a pop as it comes out. And this box, it's probably about 1.5 feet long, 1.5 feet wide, maybe 8 inches deep. Looks to be about 8 inches tall. Looks more wide than anything. Kind of one end of this still has a little, kind of bits of dwarf on it. The dark iron doesn't look as shiny and clean. Kind of blackened on one end.
Yeah, Ristel will kind of wipe away whatever dwarf bits are near the lid of the box, and then he'll try and open it.
You kind of looking it over. You find this brass latch and lock. It looks to be. It's not really like finished, but it's not tarnished at all. But it does seem to be kind of a simple lock on it.
Okay. Bristol's just gonna grab a nearby rock and start banging away at this lock.
If only you had somebody in the party that does locks.
Yes.
Rockmon cleaned it up a bit first.
Okay. Prestidigitation, make this box look a little bit cleaner. Okay. So you're gonna hit it with a
somebody.
rock.
It means somebody like with really light fingers.
That might have lockpicking tools. Okay. All right. Give me
Someone who's not a coward.
Ristel, give me a dex check. Because you're more like, just give me like an unarmed attack kind of thing.
Don't pound your own fingers.
And the box isn't gonna dodge, so. Turns out the box is a mimic; it dodges. So yeah, you kind of hit this thing a couple times with a rock. What are you trying to hit? The box or the lock?
The lock.
The lock specifically. Okay.
Yeah.
So 13. Yeah, you're able to kind of hit this thing a couple of times, and you're able to kind of bang, bang. there's a couple of like missed, like a little bit off center, and you hit the metal of the box itself, and just you see like little bits of the rock kind of shave off. You kind of hit the rock, or you hit the lock a couple of times, and then finally, just after 2 or 3 hits, the lock finally pops open.
It reminds me of otters trying to open
I figure as he's beating on this box here, he's saying to the party, this probably came from Hammerfell. Might be worth something if we bring it back. And we're going to open it. We got to sell the idea that it was damaged in the fall. So he's kind of providing a cover for these missed hits on the lock.
I just hear like Naren giggling. You know, I could have opened that, right?
Out of character, has Ristel ever seen Naren pick a lock?
No. I don't think anyone has.
We all know that she's likes to acquire stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's sneaky, but Ristel would kind of look over. Could you?
Yeah.
Well,
No.
Next time I'll ask.
It would have been really interesting if Ristel had laid on his back, put a rock on his stomach, and then bashed the box against the stuff.
That'd just be weird. Like, why are you laying on your back?
This is how I was taught, okay? Don't ask questions.
It's from my long lost ancestors. It's just instinctual.
Now I'm just picturing an otter with Ristel's head.
That's what otters do.
But yeah, now that the lock is no longer an issue, let's see what's inside this box.
You're going to stand back or open it personally?
All right, he's flipping this thing open. No caution taken.
Give me
Go for it.
1 second.
He's got to get the character sheet out for the genie.
That's what I'm getting out. Yes. Yes, the genie.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let me see here.
We'll all be scandalized by her exposed belly button.
Okay. So you're gonna kind of throw this box open, like not even hesitating. Break the lock off, throw it open, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go big, stay home.
So as you kind of throw this box open, there's going to be almost like a flashbang going off as this box comes open. Like, there's going to be this almost you're going to see this. Initially, there's this sudden flash of light, and then a wave of darkness, and then another flash of light, and it alternates a couple of times. That this box is going to get icy cold. Ristel, give me a dex save. 26. Okay, so Ristel's going to kind of hold on this box. He's actually going to drop this box. It starts to kind of frost over. He can actually almost see kind of the frost kind of creeping up, clinging to his fingers. He kind of throws the box down real quick before, almost one of those that if you go to lick a frosted pole kind of thing, licking a flagpole in the winter. Not a good idea. He's going to throw this box before it kind of starts to really freeze his fingers. And out of this box, there's going to be this almost inky blackness kind of starts to ebb up out of this box. And you can kind of hear almost these tentacles kind of whipping out of this box.
Oh, lovely.
And we're going to do this. Bink.
I think just on reflex, when his hands started to rhyme over, he would have popped those fire hands just on reflex.
Right. Or if nothing else, to be able to, I guess Brom will pop it kind of back here, to kind of get rid of that frost off your hands.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's cold. Instant hand warmers kind of thing.
Who's this?
Who's what?
That's rule.
That's Rule.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that Rule had gone on his way, but
Nope.
I'm fine with that.
He told you he'd escort you guys as far as the gates.
Okay. Dead dwarf.
And so, would you drop this box down and kind of jump back, or are you gonna like throw the box away from you? Or what are you gonna do?
Over the cliff.
If I'm dropping
A
it,
high
I
enough
probably would have just dropped it at my feet.
Okay, I would say because that would be a high enough dex. I would let you get a quick reaction off that to be able to pick where you want to throw it.
Woof.
Ooh.
And out of this box, like I said, you can kind of hear these tentacles kind of whipping around real quick, and it's going to kind of pull itself up out of this box. It's going to be this... It's almost shapeless. It just... There's this white, withering kind of black tendrils kind of stretching out from this really kind of indistinct orb. It almost looks to be like pure shadow. You can just kind of see in the center, there's just this really super faint flicker of, I don't know, something green, like almost like an eye. It appears just for a second, and then it kind of fades back into the black again.
Oh, it's so cute.
And it's going to attack you.
It's like a puppy.
Yes, just like a puppy.
Is it
Yeah.
like a
Man
shadow
loves
beholder?
shadow thingies.
If anyone wants to give me, let's see, probably, I'd say like a nature check.
Nature?
Yeah.
Okay.
8. A 3.
Woof.
I didn't want to know anyway.
Yeah, Bristol, he's not taking his eyes off this thing, but he's calling back over his shoulder. Naren, is this one of ours?
Let me see. We'll get 7 in there too. Nature. A 23, so 22, a 23. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who were we missing? Ristal. And
Mongo hasn't rolled.
Ristal and Mongo, you guys don't care to roll? You don't have to.
No, Bristol's not rolling. He has no fucking clue what this is. He assumes this is something from the Shadow Court just because of what it is. But
Right. So I would say Rockmon and 7 would both know this looks to be a voidling. It is very much a creature of not the Shadow Realm, but much worse. So you might remember the void dragons that kind of live, not necessarily, they kind of travel between planes and between worlds. This looks to be a creature of like the nothingness kind of thing.
That's lovely.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can I go back and rearrange my spells again?
Unfortunately, no.
I did not activate protection from the void. That was not on the top of my list for the day.
What's everyone's animal handling?
You could try.
I have a real good one.
This thing, like I said, it's going to make one attack against Ristal. Kind of as it's coming out of this box, almost a wild attack.
It's just scared. We should try to make it our pet.
It is something. Oh,
Another entity to add to the party.
here we go.
Yeah.
Naren finds it adorable.
Does a 15 hit?
15 does not hit.
Okay. Let me change that too, because why is that on like that?
Voidling.
Uh-huh. Where's it at? Query. Okay.
Yeah, again, calling back at Naren. Do I kill it or do I talk to it?
And just shrugs her shoulders because she's never encountered this thing before.
So what does Rockmon actually know about this thing beyond what it is?
Let's see. What would you know about it? 7's doing good. You would know this thing is very much, and this thing, it's voidlings are creatures of like the darkest void, kind of the cold space between stars. They're definitely not native to Midgard. Normally, if you happen to find one on Midgard, it's typically because it was summoned or lured.
So does Rockmon have any clue whether this thing is like impossible to kill or anything like that?
They can be killed. They are known to be a little bit more hardy than most Midgard creatures. That they're said to like devour life and knowledge and even light itself as sustenance.
So Rockmon's just going to call out to Ristel to say, "Get away from that thing. That's a pretty nasty creature," and he'll try to give whatever general information about it that you just went over to everyone. Kind of yelling out to stay back.
Even like their makeup themselves, they seem to be almost a mass of tentacles, long tentacles. Occasionally, just like you ended up seeing, it's said that once in a while they barely have shape, but they consist mostly of tendrils of like solid shadow. At the center point, there's a rough shape, and it's said that occasionally like an eye can be seen there. The core of it usually ranges a little bit from like 3 to 5 feet across, just for the central mass. This one looks to be pretty much right about the middle, kind of right about that 3.5 to 4 feet mark. It weighs almost nothing. It actually kind of hovers in the air, kind of darting through the air with fairly quick too. Even just kind of as it's hovering here, you can kind of see these tendrils kind of whipping around really quick. It takes a moment to kind of focus and actually really see them. But yeah, it's something.
So Rockmon doesn't know that any of its inherent vulnerabilities or special defenses or anything like that.
Being a creature of the void, it's fairly immune to necrotic damage. Even a lot of conditions don't really have a whole lot of effect on it. It's really hard to kind of fool them, like visually fool them. And we'll do this.
I have one spell that I think will be effective against this thing.
I'm guessing
Go ahead.
I have a couple, but I don't know really how effective they'll be.
Are Naren and Rockman about to, or are they taking part in about what's about to happen?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, who are we missing?
Naren and Rockman.
Oh,
Naren
sorry.
and Rockman.
I didn't
It's
realize
supposed
we
to
had.
rule
yeah.
too.
Sorry, yeah. Go
Unless
ahead
he's just going to stand there
I
and watch
don't
this.
think I said it. So go ahead and give me initiative rolls. There
Woof.
we go. Naren has some initiative.
Well, I always forget to select myself.
Yeah, +8 to initiative. Dear God.
Would we happen to be in direct sunlight?
I would say you are out on the cliff face, but being that it's kind of overcast, it's not exactly dim light, but it is kind of shading you a little bit. I mean, you have to kind of squint, but it's not enough to really trigger
Sunlight sensitivity?
Your sunlight sensitivity, yeah.
Cool.
Like I said, you have to squint a little bit. It's one of those like where a normal person, if you're out on a bright day without sunglasses, just kind of hurts. So for Braum, like right now, it's like I said, it's kind of overcast. So he's kind of doing that bright day squinting. Maybe holding his hand up over his eyes every now and then. But Naren, it is your turn.
I don't even know what I want to do.
I'll trade places with you so you can figure it out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull out my shotgun and pull back so it does something, or...
Okay. So you're gonna hold. You're gonna. What are you holding for? For it to move, to
something.
attack, to whatever it's
Yeah.
gonna do. Okay. And to fire your short bow, you said?
Yep.
Okay. Mongo, your turn.
Somebody had mentioned that this thing could potentially eat light. Was that said out loud by anybody?
If anybody, it'd be Rockman.
So Rockman was just gonna, say whatever he could get out in a few seconds, based on what.
I imagine it'd be something like, "Yeah, this creature's from the void. It's a thing of utter darkness. Stay back from it."
Yeah, and it's pretty tough, and that's probably about as much as he would have had a chance to get out.
Okay.
All right.
So, Mongo's gonna rage.
Okay.
Mark that down. And then Mongo's going to attack with axe after he moves. Boink.
He turns around and swings on 7.
Ouch.
Move. Okay. 26 will hit.
And then the second attack. 27 works just as good.
Mm-hmm. So 19, 21, 23. Okay. And like I say, as you do it, you notice like that necrotic damage that you normally get, that little extra, just it doesn't seem to do anything to it.
Right. But it does seem to be affected.
By the blade, yeah.
Okay. I'm done.
Okay. Rom, your turn.
I would first like to give Ristal Bardic Inspiration.
Okay.
Check that off. And then I'm going to run up and hit it with my sword.
All right. First time we get to see the sword. Did you... Question on that. So you get a bonus whenever you kill something. Whenever you get the killing blow on something.
Uh-huh.
I imagine when you're doing like your evening meal hunting, you're trying to kill stuff.
Yeah.
Or you're using your sword to kill stuff. Okay. Give me Give me a d20. 17. Okay. Let me find that handout again. Magic items. Personal equipment. Brahms longsword.
I wish that 17 was my attack roll.
I would say right now you are probably you probably have like kind of a little bit of a white glow coming off of it, so you'd be dealing some force damage.
Cool. I am going to use luck to try to re-roll this attack.
Okay. Give me a
21.
21. Okay. You really have to rework that. Maybe just make it so it gives you advantage on it to make it simpler.
Oh, the luck feat?
Yeah, well, we'll do that going on. Since you're already rolling with advantage. Or
Yeah.
since we already have him show up twice, that kind of thing.
But his potential is out there for him to be rolling with advantage and still employ luck, right?
Yeah.
Yes. That's the way luck works is if you already have advantage, you're going to roll 2. And if you want, you could roll a third one to use a luck point. A 21 will hit.
Then bam and D4.
Yep.
Yeah, D4.
So 12 plus 2. Okay. Minus 14. Okay. And yeah, you kind of run up and you make this slash, these couple of attacks here. You're able to kind of cut into it a little bit. You do some damage to it. It doesn't seem to be. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be like this would affect it. Like if you cut Ristel with your sword, it'd be about the same thing. 7. What's he gonna do? Well, I imagine as much as everybody is up around there, he's gonna stay back. And Jesus, how many cantrips does he have? I'd say he'd probably stay back and use Produce Flame and throw a fireball at him and not hit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no way he has 6 cantrips. I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. Yeah, 7's gonna use Produce Flame, kind of throw this ball at the Voidling. Just because it's such a small mass, center mass, the fire Produce Flame bolt is gonna kind of fly past it. Right as David uses his microwave.
The Voidling taunts him.
Sorry.
That's all right. Rockmon.
Thought I
All
had
right.
the microphone covered.
So this we're on. Am I on mute?
No, you're not on mute.
Okay. Checking real quick. Sorry.
It's okay.
Is this area like a flat area? So we're not like on a trail. We can move around.
Yeah, you can move around a little bit. Let me see. Here, I'll do this. I'd say
It's a cart track mostly.
something like that is your cliffside. And something like that is your valley side.
Okay. So
So we have a wall to lean on the left and a cliff to fall off on the right.
Correct.
all right. Well, in that case, excuse me. I think now Rockmon is just going to cast. Well, let me see. I guess I'll move slightly. I'll move over here in front of Niran so I have a clear shot. I don't think I would hit Mongo anyhow, but then I'm just going to cast Magic Missile.
Okay. Go ahead. 8. Okay. Yeah, and these are going to kind of slam into it. You can deal some damage to it. Let me see
Yeah,
something.
magic missiles are like guided missiles. You can stand at the back of the party with everybody else in front of you, and they'll snake in through and
Mm-hmm. Automatic
And-
hits. Yep.
And then
automatic hits.
I'll move back out of the way. And that's it for now.
Right. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to move in order to use magic missiles, as long as you're within range.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't think so, but I wanted to
No,
just
no. As long as
make
you
sure I didn't.
As long as you have line of sight to it, it's not in like complete cover where you wouldn't be able to see it, then you can hit it.
Okay. Just don't want to hit Mongo.
No, you're fine. Brings up the Voidling. Alright. Let's see. It's going to use an ability called Necrotic Burst.
Oh, lovely.
It's probably going to be like a.
Hey,
So-
that's a lot of damage.
Rom, Ristel, and Mongo. Give me Constitution saves.
I'm glad I have resistance to necrotic.
Fucking ow!
17, oh boy.
Oh,
Oof. So let's see. 35, 35, and half 35, 15, 16, 17.
don't I have resistance to damage?
Did you
Doesn't that
go
include
Totem of the
Is it-
Bear? So everything except Psychic, right?
Right.
So yeah, you would take 17 as well.
Travis, when I have my fire ends popped, I also have resistance to all damage except psychic.
Uh-huh. It's a nice thought, though. Did that just take out Ristle?
I have 1 hit point left.
Oh,
Oh.
boy.
I told you to get out of there.
I can shoot it now.
Yes, you can. Naren can shoot it. You can use your reaction. Go ahead. 22. Nice. Crit.
Fuck him up.
I can't get sneak attack on that, so it's not my turn,
Mm.
Oh, you
right?
got sneak attack on that.
Because I know it's ranged or finesse weapon.
Mhm.
Well, I
Anything
don't
that
know if
basically
that's-
anything that would use Dex. Let me take a look.
Yeah, you just get it
But I
once per
mean-
turn. It
But
doesn't
I mean,
matter
can I
when.
use
could-
it if I've held my action though?
Once per turn, you can deal an extra damage if you have advantage on the roll. If you have advantage on the roll.
Or if you have an ally within 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You don't need advantage if you have an ally. Yep. So you also get to do your weapon damage.
What?
So in chat, you see where you have your attack? If you click on short bow in the chat window,
Oh.
so
No, that's rolling the short bow damage, not the sneak attack damage.
right, but she already rolled the sneak attack damage. She hadn't rolled the short bow damage.
Did she?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I just rolled for attack. not damage.
Yeah. And she has a -1 strength. Sorry. 22 damage. Okay. All right. That's definitely going to hurt this thing.
If it's not immune to normal weapon damage.
Doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, you haven't seen anything that gives you that impression yet. Ristel, it's your turn.
Well, everything he's been attacked with so far, aside from the
Necrotic.
short bow, has been magical weapons.
I'm definitely not backing off this thing now.
Okay.
That would be a good thing.
So, yeah, I'm going to pop a flurry of blows into this thing's ass.
All right, give me some hits.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to use the Bardic Inspiration on that 13.
Okay.
So that's a D8.
Yep.
So that's a 19 now.
All right. 3 of those will hit. The 20, the
And
19, the
1,
26.
2, and 3. Damn, I wish that last one was a crit. 12.
So the lowest we've rolled in hit
32.
has been a 19.
Now they rolled a 9.
All right.
It also has to make a dex save. I don't know if this thing can be knocked prone, but I'm enacting that dragon tail whip.
Well, first off, it's hovering, so it's immune to prone. Second
Yeah.
off, it's dead.
Oh,
Oh, yay!
loot the body.
That's nice.
Just put it back in the chest.
About that,
Yeah, I mean, what happens to this thing when it dies?
Disintegrates or evaporates. Or...
so
Oh, fuck me!
hold on. So no, it doesn't explode.
Okay.
It does kind of. As Ristel kind of gets these fiery fists in there, he's able to kind of pop, 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 pop. Maybe he kind of grabs a tentacle to burn it a little bit more, getting a blow in towards the center of it. and it'll the tentacle or the arms, the limbs just kind of start to go kind of limp, and it kind of crumbles to the ground, and almost you see almost like these little bits of shadowy flakes kind of peel off a little bit. The whole mass kind of shrinks up a tiny bit, but there just looks to be almost like a burned husk on the ground. The box. As this thing is dying,
Shit!
another voidling comes clambering out of this box.
I think this is literally Pandora's box. I think we fucked up, guys.
I called it. Out of character, that is.
I suppose it took all 3 of those successful strikes to kill this thing.
Let's see.
We don't know.
Let me see.
Well, I would know if it dropped after 2.
I'm looking. Hold on. Let me add those up.
The first 2 were 23.
No, it wasn't. You had to get that
Okay.
third hit in.
Since I'm right by the box, is there any way I can like kick that shut with my foot?
Yeah, I'd let you kind of kick it. Where are you kicking it?
I'm just kicking the lid shut.
Okay, so he's flipping it shut real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this thing's already out, so
Mhm.
that's over and done with. But hopefully,
Right.
nothing
And
else will come.
I would let you get that, like, as this other thing starts to kind of, this other voidling piles out, you start to realize, like, oh, shit. And you kind of reach over and just flip the box shut.
Do I get the sense that if I moved away from this thing, it's got enough wherewithal to hit me as I'm leaving?
I don't know. It doesn't exactly talk to you. So.
Right. I'm not going to chance moving away.
So Mongo's new friend is just like hiding under a bush or something.
Oh, yeah. Beep. For all about poor Rule.
I couldn't think of his name, so I'm just gonna now always call him Mongo's friend.
There you go. Now you guys should be able to see his name.
He's the guy that rules.
We will stick him. Well, he rolled a 19, but he'll make 1 attack here. As soon as I get everything to stop moving. He's going to pull out his crossbow and fire at this thing. 22 will hit. For 10, and where's his sneak attack? 11.
Hell yeah.
He needs 4d6 for sneak attack.
Oh, shit.
He is higher level than
Okay,
that.
yeah, that's, I guess, average?
It's right about average. It's not great. But... he was kind of surprised. He didn't expect to see this second one come out. He was more still looking at the husk of the first one. And it was, oh shit, that thing. But Naren, your turn. As Nick dies.
I'm assuming a 20 hits.
Yes, 20 will hit. 5. Okay. And sneak attack for, so 12. Sorry, anything else?
I don't know.
Nothing else? Okay. Mongo, your turn.
Okay, Mongo's gonna move over, and then attack twice.
Okay. 23.
Man, I'm
Yes.
rolling well.
You also have a +8. And the second hit, 27. Both of those will hit. So 12, 7, 19. All right.
You're adding 2, right?
Oh yeah.
For each hit.
That will bloody it. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think I have enough movement to move any farther to get out of the way of any missile attacks, so I guess I'm stuck there.
Well, I mean, you went 20 feet.
Well, I can't move through Ristel's
You can.
block.
Why
Have
not?
to go around him, don't I?
No.
You can move through ally squares.
Through ally squares, you can move through.
Okay.
As long as you don't
Crystal's
end there.
also like smaller than you. Probably
Well,
fit
if I
between
can,
your
I'm
legs.
going to move a little bit there. Okay.
Okay.
That puts me up against the edge, but we'll see.
Mhm. All right. Brahm, your turn.
I just want to kill this thing as quickly as possible, so I'm going to attack it with my longsword. 25.
Oh, nice.
Oop. And
And a d4.
roll.
+3. Nice. 11. Brings up Rule. He's kind of focused.
I'm gonna give Ristel Bardic Inspiration again, just in case.
Nick, are you back? Remind him when he gets back.
Yep.
How can you attack and give Bardic Inspiration?
Bardic Inspiration is a bonus action.
Ah.
He's gonna sit back and fire crossbow at this thing again, because tentacles. Why did it? Oh, I see why it did. I clicked my own one. Boop. 20 will hit. 9. He's not doing great on his bonus damage. That'll be 22. All right. Nick, you have inspiration again.
Oh, sweet. Let's hope I live to use it.
Let's see. 7. Okay. 7 is going to move up. And he's going to use Cure Wounds as...
Careful about that necrotic burst.
Uh-huh. He's going to use Cure Wounds as... what do you think? Second or third level? Probably at third level. Because if you're at 1...
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop. 22.
Sweet.
Crystal no longer looks like he's about to die.
I am no longer bloodied.
Right? Yeah. And he's also going to hand you one of his healing potions. If you didn't have one before.
I've got the black vial, so
Right, but you need blood from something. The Voidling is dead and it's dust, but he's going to give
Right,
you
but-
one that doesn't give you poison.
yeah, but I've been bleeding into it for every long rest.
Okay. Well, fine. Don't take the potion then. Chance yourself with poison. See if I care.
Nah, the queen gave it to me. It's not gonna fuck me over in the middle of a fight.
No, not at all.
No.
Rockmon, your turn.
Okay, so this guy, he's still not bloodied as far as we know, right?
Yeah, he's bloodied.
The bad guy is?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that red
Voidling.
dot.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
in
the
that
target's so
case-
big it's hard to spot it.
Yeah, no, I don't know why I was just ignoring it. All right, in that case, Rockman's gonna run over here next to Rule,
Mhm.
and I think he's gonna try Instead of doing anything to make everybody nervous, I think he's just going to fire off Scorching Ray.
And it's 3 rays, I
bolt.
think.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could roll 3 times.
Yep. Go ahead and roll it 3 times. It's gonna mess up.
Oh,
your
I actually
spell
have to roll it
slots.
3 times? Okay.
Yeah, 3 attacks. It's gonna mess up your spell slots, but
Nice.
all
Actually, it's
3
not-
hit.
Yay!
Didn't do anything to my spells, but
Not
Oh,
yet.
oh.
It won't until you click on the inside the chat where the Scorching Ray. Click on the name for each one of those, and it'll roll the damage. And that's where it's gonna mess up your spell slots.
oh, okay. Oh,
And then click on the next one.
thought I clicked 3 times. Did it not work?
You have to click each one.
Yeah, you definitely want to click each one in turn because otherwise that crit damage isn't going to get factored in automatically.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Now
I
you-
tried to do.
Right. Oh, so it just took it a second to catch up. Okay.
Oh, it lagged.
Yeah. Just add 2 more spell slots back on those. So
Okay.
let's see.
27.
10 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6. 27. That is going to kill it.
Nice.
Yay!
And is the
Just
box
in
closed, I
time.
hope?
The box, the lid is closed.
All right, good.
But the lock is not engaged.
The lock is broken. Bristol. It's your turn.
Fuck.
These could be guardians. There could
I
be-
am
there-
going
there-
to pick
there
up the
could be no
box.
more. There could be no more in there, or there could be a dozen more in there.
I'm going to pick up the box and I'm going. What does this lock look like? Specifically, how does it work?
It looks essentially like almost like those stereotype padlocks with like the keyhole in it. So it's kind of
And-
it would have just latched on, but you used the rock to break the lock open.
So it's like a padlock.
Yeah, essentially.
I
There's-
can
there's
fix
kind of
that. Don't worry about it.
There's kind of a hasp on it, or on the chest itself, where this hasp kind of comes down, and it looks like the hasp is made of like that same kind of cold iron as the box. The lock itself looked to have probably been the cheapest part of it, the weakest part of it. But you said you're picking this box up, right?
Yeah.
Give me a dex save. Because the box is still frosting over. A 12. Alright.
Can I add inspiration to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Then yeah, I will add
3. 15.
15.
Okay.
And I don't suppose having my fire hands on helps at all with that.
A little bit, but not much.
Okay.
Did I do that right?
Box does 35 damage.
Right. Here, we'll just make this easy. You're gonna take 1 point of cold damage.
Okay.
I don't know, I guess I did do it right the first time. It just looked weird. Yeah, 1 point.
Is the box locking area, not the padlock, but like the thing you loop the lock into itself, is that still
The latch?
yeah.
It's a little dented. Give me a d20.
Okay.
How bad is this latch? 7. Good. It looks a little dented. It doesn't really look like it's still intact, but the original lock, you had to taking it out. You broke the locking mechanism, and you kind of had to force the lock out to get it open.
Okay.
but the hasp itself and the hook on the chest is still intact. It's just really, really bent out of shape. Like, you're not gonna be able to get the original lock back in here without repairing this box.
Can I use the immovable rod to lock it?
Like, put the rod through the latch.
Yeah,
Didn't
Too
Brom say you could fix it?
it's too big.
I can fix it. I have mending.
Okay. And I've seen him use it, so okay. Rista would set the box back down, put the immovable rod on top of it, and activate it.
Okay.
Just kind of as a stopgap measure until Brom can do his thing.
Okay.
Good.
Let's see.
Good job.
Yeah, and then he's gonna take a pull from the black file.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that grader. I forgot what it was. 44 plus 4?
Yep.
Yes.
And a
Oops.
Constitution.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay, so
special
that puts me
items.
back up to full. Oh wait, no, one short of full.
Black file.
And then con save.
Right. And it's a DC 12 con, so yep. Alright, you're able to
Yay.
resist the poison.
See?
Really gotta make a macro.
It's all
there.
working out.
Piece of cake.
Alright. And that'll be one charge from it.
Yeah. That is it for Ristle.
Okay, you're gonna stay right there next to the box.
Yeah, I'm in pretty good shape now. Nothing to get out of that box. I think I'm okay.
Uh-huh. Sure. Let me see here. Movable rod. What's the DC on to breaking a movable rod?
Malgo's going to keep a good eye on the lid, and if it looks like it's trying to trying to lift, Mongo will put a foot on it and add weight.
Do you even lift, bro?
Oh shit! It takes a strength check at 30 to move that thing.
Yep.
Let's see what the strength check is on this. Let me see what else it has too.
It could also hit it with like several thousand pounds of force to move it.
Yeah, 8,000 pounds.
I don't think these voidlings are gonna do that.
No, it's not gonna. It's gonna hold. All right, so that will momentarily take you out of combat. What are you guys gonna do?
I'm gonna go mend that lock.
Let me check something on mending.
I can basically just like fix a break or tear or like fuse things together.
Mm-hmm.
If the lock wasn't still on there, I would just get like bolts from my crossbow and just like make a cage on it.
Right. So yeah, you're gonna use mending on this lock and on the lock itself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the lock kind of, you see a little, or like the occasional shard comes flying over, and it kind of shapes itself back into a lock. Congratulations, you now have a lock in your hand. That will not fit in the box.
Yeah, because the latch is.
Uh-huh.
The latch is
up.
busted?
Yes. Well, the latch
Okay.
isn't necessarily busted, but it's kind of bent out of shape, and the lock
Yeah.
won't fit back in the latch.
Can
Then it... I'm gonna use mending, and what do I have? I guess I could use crossbow bolts.
Can Rockmon use? I don't know if this would actually work at all. Can he use repair metal to try to fix that?
Yeah, totally could.
All right, he'll do that.
So repairing the box, repairing the lock. Okay.
Whatever needs to be fixed so we can actually use the lock on the box.
Right, right.
So let me cast that. Sorry about
Yeah.
the noise. Dog's making noises.
I mean, Mending, you can have that. I mean, mending would be able to reshape that latch the way you need it to be. Kind of putting the lock back on this, you kind of. So Braum uses mending on the lock, and it kind of reshapes and reforms. He comes over and sees the latch is damaged, so Rockmon goes over and uses the. That's on touch, so you would have to be up here. So Rockmon goes up, and while Brahm's fixing the lock, Rockmon's trying to fix the box, the latch, getting that put back together.
Yeah.
So Braum, you go and you get this lock put together. Rockmon does this thing with the box. You go to put the lock back on this, and it latches, but you can still see kind of the edges of this box kind of trembling, shaking, as if it's still something is still trying to break out of this thing. Braum or Rockmon, give me an Arcana check.
That's probably your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'd say probably more Rockmon since he was messing with the box anyway. 25. Rockmon's going to get kind of a sense of when this box is opened, there seemed to have been some kind of runes or some kind of containment spell on this box. The lock was meant to keep the spell intact. The lock itself isn't magical, but there was some kind of enchantment on the box. Opening the box broke that enchantment.
Shit.
Oh, that's not good.
As long as it doesn't break the box, we should be good.
Rob, you can mend that enchantment, right?
I can't make the enchantment, but I can just start getting like crossbow bolts and mending them to the side to try to reinforce the top and the bottom half of this box.
Wait, can you just like mend the lid closed? Like, can you just like fuse that?
No.
No.
How big is the box?
What did we say, about 1.5 feet wide?
Oh yeah,
8 to 10 tall. 8 to 10 tall. So I mean, it fits kind of inside your mending, but mending doesn't necessarily let you transmute things. It doesn't let you change the physical properties of something.
Okay. 7 has heat metal, doesn't it?
I have heat metal.
Yeah. I think they both do.
Could
We
we?
both use heat metal.
I don't
Yeah, and
think
I
it would
got
get hot
fire
enough.
hands, which I don't know.
Yeah. You would have to get that to melt this dark iron. Ristel would have to get this hot enough to burn himself.
How big is the box?
About 1.5 feet wide, about 10 inches deep, 10 inches tall.
So could we potentially tie some rope around it, maybe with the immovable rod as well? So tie the immovable rod to it.
Well, the immovable rod is only a stopgap measure because if that thing's active, we can't take this with us.
Right. Yeah, I mean, right now, essentially, the immovable rod is what's keeping this lid closed. And the lock to a lesser extent. But the movable rod is what really seems to be keeping this thing in.
Nobody's got any chains or anything, do they?
I have manacles of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that will work against the tentacle monster, but
Yeah.
it's something.
I have 2 hands of strength 19 that could maybe hold it closed, but that's all I would be able to do.
Mm-hmm. Because that would take both Mongo's hands to do that.
Alright, so we dig a hole.
Or
The
we-
Mongo
we-
put the box in the hole, and we put the rod on top of it, and then we leave.
We just throw it over the cliff and say, "Tough luck on the rest of the world."
Right.
That's also
And
an
then
option.
the breaks open on the way down.
Or we could open it back up and see how many of them there are. Rack up
Open it up and open and toss it.
I think
Rack
so.
up some XP.
Actually, if we toss it, it's going to open anyway.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we got it locked back up now, but
Right.
when Ristel was going to close the box,
Mhm.
did he get a look inside? Like, did he get any kind of sense as to how many voidlings might be in there, or
So kind of
even if there's like a bottom to this thing, or what?
So have you ever seen like in a video game where there's a graphical glitch and there's just black?
Mm-hmm.
Looking inside this box, it looks like that. Like the inside of this box was not rendered. Like they didn't intend you to open this box, and so they never mapped the inside of it. You just see like a almost a smooth top of black inside this box. You cannot see into this box, even when it was open.
My God, it's full of voidlings.
Okay, so either this is just like a bag of holding, or this is just a direct conduit to the void.
Given the cold temperature, I'm guessing the latter.
Fuck. Bristol really wants to take this thing to Hammerfell because there's probably a reward in it for us. But
Breaking it open.
well, I mean, we
long...
fixed the lock. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as far as the dwarves would be concerned, like we found it this way. We could probably sell that story to them, but
I mean, we could just wrap a ton of rope around it. How much rope do we have? We all have 50 feet of rope or something like that. We could just
I imagine
Make
you each have
make a
50
big-
feet. Yeah.
a big yarn ball of rope around the thing and see if that holds it closed.
Well,
Here you go. It's a big
Mongo-
void yarn
Mon-
ball.
Mongo has silk rope, which is quite a bit stronger.
Well, it's strong for its weight, so it's about the same strength, considering that it's like a tenth the weight. That's the main difference on silk rope. I mean, pound for pound, it is stronger. Yes.
Mongo's used to sailing, right, or something on a ship, so he should know how to tie knots.
Yes, Mongo knows knots.
Mongo no not.
I don't
Mongo
want to.
Mongo knows many knots.
Rockman doesn't want to leave this thing sitting alongside the road because then who knows, these things are going to all just start coming out and following us anyhow, so we're going to have to fight them all. So we may as well try to do something with it.
So Mongo will get out his silk rope, bind it around the box. No, it's sitting on the ground.
Mhm.
So he's not going to be able to get his hands under it with the immovable rod. So it's going to be a coordination exercise to deactivate the immovable rod and for Mongo to get his hands around it to clamp it shut. And then he's going to have to provide direction to make the knots.
as Mongo's getting out the silk rope, Bristol's gonna look at him. We have to take away the rod in order to bind this thing up. I think it might be better if you were one of the people holding this thing shut.
That's just what I said.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
He's-
talking about you being the one to tie it. Okay.
No,
No,
he's the only one that can hold it shut,
Mhm.
aside
Okay.
from the movable rod.
Mhm.
So he has to hold it shut while he gives direction on knots.
Rockman says, "Let me stand over here just in case something goes wrong. You need me to cast a spell on this thing."
Okay. So Mongo's gonna move up, and I imagine this is all going fairly quickly. It's like, hey, get the rope. This isn't gonna hold, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mongo, you'll get one check while you're still raging, and then then your rage wears off. Because I think you have to
Okay.
take or deal damage basically every round, right?
Right. That doesn't do anything for my strength.
Well, you get advantage on strength checks, don't you?
Yeah.
While raging.
That's true.
Can I punch Mongo in the back of the head?
Yeah,
I mean, you can. I'm not
kick
going
him
to
in
stop
the
you.
ass. Kick him in the ass.
Okay, so
Um,
Mongo's going to go up and take hold of this box as you guys are releasing the rod.
Can Seven also help hold it down? I seem to remember he has a positive strength modifier.
How are you guys going to hold? Or are you planning to like pin it to the ground and tie the rope around it somehow?
No, not going to be able to do that.
I'm figuring
Mhm.
like Seven and Mongo are on each end,
Mhm.
and they're kind of holding it while I guess Ristle ties it shut. Ristle or Naren, I suppose.
I
'Cause I'm imagining this rope tying
either
exercise
have
is
to
gonna be
take
dex-based.
damage or deal damage in order to stay in rage, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm going
I
to be
think you have to
taking
either
cold
take
damage. I'm going to be
damage
taking
or
cold
attack it, yeah.
damage.
And you can always voluntarily fail a save. That's always an option. Nobody says you have to roll. It's just if you don't roll, you fail. And it's a D4 per round that you're holding this thing. So
I understand.
I can't
still
take.
take. I
Go ahead.
still
Can't
take
take
half
too long.
damage.
right.
It can't take too long to tie this thing up.
Yeah, I mean, I'd figure it'd be... You're trying to hurry up and wrap this thing, so you're looking probably 10, 15 seconds, or 10, 20 seconds. I'd say like 2 rounds.
2 or 3 rounds. Yeah, 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because book says, a round is 6 seconds. It's within reason, because you can always have a little bit of talk. So I would say you're going to end up taking 2 rounds worth of damage, Mongo.
Okay. Half
If-
damage.
Right, well, it's still damage. So half of that. So the first round you take 2, second round you take 1, so 3 damage.
Okay.
And let me see here. Close that. Close that. Give me a strength check with advantage. 27. Okay. Voidling strength. 12. Okay. So as you guys are kind of getting this tied, and Mongo, give me a second strength save. 24. 12. Jesus.
No contest.
So yeah, Mongo's able to kind of like there's the occasional just bump as this thing kind of slams against the lid, or as this void thing inside kind of slams against the lid. You can kind of see almost like a wisp of the tip of a tentacle kind of slip out when it slams against. Mongo's able to kind of hold his own against it. Ristle's kind of tying this trying to get this rope around it as quick as he can without getting Mongo's hands tied up in it. I hope.
He just ties the rope so that Mongo's trapped like this. Oh no!
Continuously taking cold damage.
Forever.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Mongo, you said you're going to give him instruction on tying the knot, right?
Right.
Ristle, you're the one doing the rope.
I think so.
Give me a sleight of hand with advantage.
Okay.
Mongo's basically no that loop then that loop. Okay. 17. Okay. So yeah, it takes takes it a few seconds. Mongo's hands kind of get frosted over a little bit, but Ristle's able to get this pretty well tied. It's fairly solid. He kind of pulls his hands back. Or Mongo is able to kind of pull his hands
Good.
back, and the chest drops to the ground.
Too bad he doesn't have a bottle of beer to chill.
But Mongo, he'll kind of, as this box drops, he'll kind of look at your hands, and you can see like the frost has kind of gone over it. Like, your fingers look a little blue. Now your fur still has a little bit of frost on it, as your own body heat kind of starts to warm it up, and you just kind of do that thing. It's like oh, fingers, ow, okay.
Like I said, I don't have a bottle of beer to warm up my fingers and chill the
Crystal
brew.
does.
Ristle does, and I think 7 does. But yeah, you've tied up this box.
So Rockmon will cast Prestidigitation and warm up Mongo's hands.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll go have warm heart.
Would it be reasonable to tack on to the rope tying that we could have fashioned kind of a harness out of the 50 feet of rope so that somebody can carry it in such a way that it's not in direct contact with skin?
I don't think we could even fit 50 feet of rope on a package that small, but imagine got some left over.
Well, I mean, you've also got your own adventure packs kind of on you. I imagine you could basically essentially tie it to your adventure pack or your backpack.
Okay.
Be easy enough.
If we wrap
Um,
enough rope around it like a ball of yarn, should be pretty
Right.
well insulated anyhow.
Yeah, it would act. You might be able to see little or like slivers of black iron through the rope, but you'd be able to more or less grab the rope and pick it up.
How heavy is this thing?
So as you pick it up, you start to realize like it's actually fairly light. Like picking it up, it feels looking at a dark iron, and you feel the weight of that. But otherwise, you don't feel any additional weight from the iron itself. Overall, weighs it's a little heavy for like a chest box like that. Probably you're looking like the 5 to 10 pound range. So it's surprisingly heavy, but no more than what the materials would be.
Unless anybody else really made a push to carry this thing, Rista would secure it to his own pack just because he made this mess. Now he figures he's kind of responsible for it.
Aaron's gonna look at everyone in the party, and then, like, so, is this the new boar?
Vor.
Who's for?
I hope not.
Could be. We'll see.
I think Shevin should have taken damage from that burst too, but well.
He wasn't there yet.
Yeah, he wasn't in range of the first one, and the second
He
one
was-
Right, but it was a 20-foot radius of self. But oh well,
But that should only be 10 feet. 20-foot radius.
radius.
I think he was outside of the 20-foot radius, but
It's hindsight.
Yeah.
It was just one of those.
Rockmon was behind Naren, so I know Rockmon
That's
was
a 20-foot radius.
yeah.
I think 7 wasn't he like diagonally up from Naren and Rule?
Yeah, he was next.
Yeah, he was further back. He had to run up
Yeah,
to
it's-
come heal me.
I want to say like he was.
Like right there.
Yeah, he was like
Like, right
yeah,
there.
basically where Rockman was.
Yeah.
Rockmon was wisely well back over here someplace.
How far back can we go? Yeah, I was over there.
That's where he was.
No,
That's
that's
walking
fine.
hanging
Yeah,
off the
I'm not
cliff edge,
gonna.
peeking over.
That's the proper position for a squishy.
I'm not gonna retroactively apply damage because that's just fucked up.
All right. Onward.
Clear.
I think so.
Alright.
This void box thing could be useful at some point, possibly.
Yeah, if we're ever in a bad situation, we just untie the rope.
And make
on,
our
man.
situation worse.
It's a voidling grenade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we
Okay.
ever want to beat Moonthorn to the punch and just ruin the world ourselves, I mean, we got this right here.
All right. So congratulations, Ristol now has a box of voidlings. A dark
Added
iron
to
box of
equipment.
voidlings.
Voidling spawn cube.
Voidling spawn cube.
And made by Acme.
Yeah.
Me.
All right. Let's take a quick break. Get drinks, go to the bathroom, all the usual fun stuff. Let's
Yep.
see. I've got 10 after, so be back at 25. Take a 15-minute break.
Sure.
Good.
Sounds good.
All right.
That's good fun.
All right. So, we're all back. Yay. So you got the box tied up. It is also tied to Ristel's pack.
Mhm.
What do you guys want to do? You want to take a short rest?
I think we were going to
Get the fuck out.
look, check out the dwarf body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea to take a short rest while we look the body over further.
Mm-hmm.
Have lunch. In particular, Braum.
So we don't want to collect any of the void stuff, though?
Oh, we definitely do, but body comes first.
Okay.
I don't even know what we would put the void stuff in, though.
Empty bottles.
Yeah, Russell's probably got a couple that he can contribute to the cause. Just as part of his brewer supplies.
That works.
Okay. So, who's collecting them? It sounded like Rockman when we were talking during the break, but
Yeah, he'll collect them.
okay. So you're gonna kind of take these bottles from Ristel and try to, as you kind of go over to the voidlings, it is very much like you go to grab one of these tentacles and it just touching it, you can feel like, you know, like the fireworks, those little snake pellets for fireworks. You light them and it turns into like a carbon ash. It's kind of one of those, like, you go to grab onto one of these tentacles and just turns to ash in your hand. But you take that and you're just gonna put that into put some as much of that into one of the bottles as you can. 2 bodies here. How many bottles are you gonna give him, Ristel?
I figured just right off the bat 2, 1 for each voidling, but if it requires more, he would supply them.
Okay. I mean, how much of this voidling do you want to try to collect, or these voidlings do you want to try to collect?
Maybe 2 bottles worth.
Okay. Yeah, and you'd be able to.
Seems like plenty.
These bodies are big enough that you'd be able to essentially fill each bottle.
Damn.
Oh, easily.
This may end up being our party treasure.
Because I just want to be clear, these are whiskey bottles. Like, he brews whiskey.
Mm-hmm. And Braum rides motorcycles.
It kind of sounded like a motorcycle said brew.
Yeah, so there's a parking garage right outside my window.
Mm.
So
That's
kind of loud sometimes.
That's one of the things I do like about my new place is I don't have people flying up and down the road outside my window. Partly because my window looks into my backyard, and partly because I just live in a small, quiet town and a small, quiet neighborhood.
So most days since I've gotten here, at like 1 in the morning, someone drives through the parking garage and just revs their engine until car alarms start going off.
Oh my god.
Dick.
Oh, what a
What
dick.
a douchebag.
Go out and find out who it is and flatten their tires at 2 a.m. Take a knife.
Put sugar in their gas tank at about midnight.
Oh no.
That's fucked up. I would just flatten all of our tires. Because that's just expensive.
So it's ruining the engine.
Yeah, that's just wrong. I mean, both are illegal, but still.
Maybe that'll teach him a lesson though. Wear gloves.
Yeah.
Of course, I know how to commit crime.
Yeah,
Wear a mask.
years of training.
Put on your Braum cosplay.
Christian's address is 123 Avenue A.
That's somewhere an idiot would live.
Apartment 7. All right. But anyway, back to the thing. We'll jump over. You guys. So while Rockman's doing that, you guys are kind of checking out this body, right?
Yep.
All right. Who's taking lead on checking out the body?
I have a 3 on investigation. Anybody else?
Rockman's probably got a real good investigation roll.
Rockman has a pretty good.
-1. Let me take care of this.
Rockman's
All right.
busy.
I will roll my check then.
A 7. Okay. So again, kind of looking over this body.
I want to use luck.
Okay, so a 14. Okay. Looking over this body. Yeah, you start to notice, like, you kind of roll her where Ristel kind of pointed out that little bit of a poke in front. You roll her over and you can see the back of this crossbow bolt. It looks like when you kind of rolled her body over, it was already a good ways in, but rolling her over essentially pushed it the rest of the way through. So that's why it was poking out the front.
Mhm.
So it's sticking straight up.
It is now, yeah. Like I said, you kind of before you look up again, and it's about 50 feet to the next ledge above you. So, yeah, I mean, if she didn't die from bleeding out, then she was dead on impact.
Mhm.
Yeah, while we're on the break, we're talking about whether she was shot by the crossbow and fell over, or whether she heroically survived and
Only be shot when she was on the ground.
no, whether she got shot by the crossbow and then realizing she was going to die, she pulled herself over the edge to deny the blocks from whoever was shot her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another one of the questions that we came up with during the break was particularly about the brand on her. Is there any way to tell, like, if it's like a current brand?
Like
Sarah
the
brought
age
up
of it?
the Well, yeah, that. But Sarah brought up particularly like if they add like an extra part to the brand once their tenure is done.
Oh, so like, would they like add like hash marks for years, kind of thing?
Yeah, to signify to anyone who sees them that like,
Mhm.
oh, this person is out, not escaped.
Hmm.
In other words, they're released from their bond.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Rule would, or like, I imagine Rule would kind of look at this and, yeah, she's it looks like she's escaped, and he'll kind of look over this branding, and he'll kind of point it out in a couple of spots. Yeah, see, so, and he'll kind of point it out. It's like the branding in general says yes. This whole brand tells you she was a slave of the 10 years under the mountain. And he'll kind of point out, like, so this little section here shows that she was from Hammerfell, or that she was a slave of Hammerfell. And he'll go over, and this other side, you can see if you didn't like there's one line that has kind of, it's a little bit longer. It kind of goes off to the side, and it's almost imperceptible. But it's like, and there's little marks along that line where he kind of points out. It looks like she was about 7 years into her tenure. At least, if this is to be believed. I mean,
So she was about 3/4 done.
let's see. Brom, you're investigating this body. Give me a medicine check.
Oh boy.
Can Ristel make one as well? I figure he would be nearby just because he did conduct much of the
Yeah.
earlier stuff.
Okay, yeah.
I would like to point out that score is twice as good as my previous one.
So a 9. Okay. What were you looking for? Oh, you were just waiting for to hear what I was going to say. Okay. Yeah, I mean, even look into this, it's like with 7 years. I mean, imagine Risto would kind of look at this and kind of look at his own hands. That the branding looks older than 7 years.
So he I imagine he's kind of crouching down by the body, and he would look questioningly up at Rule. If she was 7 years into her time as a slave, why does this look older than that?
I don't know. Look. And last time she was marked, she was 7 years into it. That's all I know, man.
Russell's going to look back at the brand. Is there a second kind of like notching system to indicate a prior enslavement? Or does it look like this brand was made over top another brand?
Give me a history check.
Why do I keep doing this myself?
Hey.
So normally, if you're captured and you do 10 years under the mountain, they brand you, they give you the 10 marks, and you are effectively pardoned from any future. If anybody were to capture you again, you've already served your 10 years. That said, give me an investigation. 19.
Great.
You don't see any... Yeah, kind of looking at it... Excuse me. You don't really see like any other markings or any evidence of rebranding. The base brand on this, it's not tattooed. This is actually like scar branding. This is like they heated up a piece of metal and stuck it on her shoulder and branded her. That said, the scar tissue does look fairly thick. I mean,
Scarification.
yes, it is full up branding, not tattooing. But you don't see any evidence of rebranding or branding over the top or anything like that. Even kind of looking over her body, like looking over the rest of her body, you don't see any other brands or anything.
So she's been escaped for a while.
Maybe.
I imagine after some more examination, Rizzle's just going to shake his head and just mutter under his breath, "Stupid."
And Rule kind of agree with you. She only had 3 years left, but it's not uncommon for people to escape. They don't usually stay around the Iron Crags, though.
Lots of possibilities. We're doing a short rest, right?
Yeah.
Hit dice.
Okay.
Nice roll.
After we're done examining the body, Brom will take out his lute and play a song of rest.
And that's an extra D6, I think?
Yep, D6.
Okay.
D6 per hit die or D6
One
for...
D6.
Just D6. One time.
I'm gonna have my owl scouting the area.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. And I think that pretty much maxes out Nick, so he's not worried about it. You only want to use one die?
Yeah.
David? Mongo?
I just did the second one.
Oh, okay.
Does the extra D6 only take effect if you are rolling hit dice, or does it take
Yes.
effect anyway? Okay.
Yeah, only when you spend a hit die.
Right.
Okay.
It's a little extra oomph, but it's not a flat out heal.
Gotcha.
That brings me back up to full.
Okay. That's a nice one, that second time.
Yeah.
Not so much the first time.
Just a question of clarification on the file. It says it regains 1d3 expenditure charges daily at midnight.
Mhm.
Can I refill it just whenever I have enough time to actually bleed into it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool. I mean, since we're hanging out here for a little bit, I'll go ahead and do that.
Whose blood are you using?
My own.
Okay. You'll end up taking 1 point of damage from that. Just kind of
Ranchman?
Cool.
arcane recovery. Okay. Speaking of which, Rockmon.
That's an interesting autocorrect.
Yeah. Give me, Rockmon, give me an investigation. Kind of as you're looting, or as you're getting the stuff, the ash from these bodies. 15. Nice. Okay. Kind of as you're filling up these jars, it's almost one of those, like I said, you kind of grab one of the tentacles and it turns to ash, and you kind of reach forward, and the main core body of this thing is just basically a giant knot of tentacles, and you reach forward and kind of crush those as well, and you're going to kind of reach in, and you're going to find, as you're kind of getting the ash from this thing, you're going to find this green gem, about the size of maybe like a lemon, about the size and shape of a lemon, but it's kind of this green agate gem.
The Void Nugget.
See. All right, I'll show that to everyone. I'll also try to determine if it has any magical qualities.
Give me an Arcana check.
Birdmen love shinies.
9.
That's pretty.
You're not getting
Great
any
roll.
sense of magic from it. At least not as it is now.
Based on my knowledge of these creatures, do I know anything about it?
On your research, I'd say most people, nobody's been able to dissect a living voidling, right? At least not to completion before they succumb as well.
Okay, so but in terms of this green gem,
Mhm.
Is that something that's normally in these things? Do we know, or is that just I don't know?
I would say it's not something you've come across in your research or in your readings.
Okay.
So we can make it easy. We'll make it even more. Do nature. Nature check 21. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, maybe you kind of sit there and think about it a little bit, and you do kind of recall. Not necessarily anything specific about like a green gem, but you do remember like there's always kind of like that faint green light inside of it, of a voidling, kind of like when you get a glimpse of it, it almost looks like a green eye. Some think that maybe it's not necessarily like a control crystal, but like the heart of a voidling could be something like this crystal, like the void tentacles kind of coalesce around it.
Okay. I'll ask if anybody else wants to carry it. Otherwise, I'll carry it.
There's 2 of them?
One in each, I assume.
Oh, Rockmon found one of them.
I could put that with my other gems.
Naren's interested.
Go digging
Does
through the
Rockman still have it?
She wouldn't snatch it out
Not
of
for
his
long.
hand.
Not while you were looking, at least.
Rockmon's happy to have somebody else carry them just in case they have some kind of a nasty side effect.
And Naren will just be like, I'll plug it.
If you're carrying both of them, you'd get cursed in stereo.
Well, we only found one so far, so if Rockmon will look around for the one and the other creature.
So yeah, you head over to the other creature and you kind of start digging through, and the most you find kind of almost slivers, like if you've ever hit like a rock with a hammer and just had it shatter.
Huh.
You can find like the occasional green sliver or a piece of glass, almost one of those like you're reaching in and you get kind of a prick or like a glass sliver. But
Oh, great.
you don't find
Bit
anything.
by a radioactive spider.
Yeah.
Rockmon
All right,
can
well-
now shoot spider webs.
Oh, okay. This is cool.
No.
All right. Well, I'll tell Naren just to be very careful with it. It might be valuable. We don't know for sure. So.
Start growing tentacles.
Now, see, when Rockman eventually gains the power of flight, it's not going to be with his wings, but with tentacle wings.
Rockmon's fine having Naren carry it just in case it has some kind of radioactive impact.
Hey, Bubba, hold this.
Yeah.
Is it possible to collect the fragments of the broken one?
Would Naren be trying to do that? Or would that something Rockman would do?
Rockmon probably wouldn't. Once he got stuck once, he probably doesn't want to risk it again. So if Naren wants to do that, go for it.
Could always stick Mongo with it. Mongo, you like everything. Hey, Mongo.
What's the worst that could happen?
Rockmon wouldn't do that. He'd be fine letting Naren carry the gem, but he wouldn't do that.
I mean, but yeah, Naren, would that be something Naren would do? Is kind of knowing that the shards are in there, the broken crystal is in there. Would she try to collect it? Hello?
I'm trying to.
Oh, trying to think. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were on mute.
Yeah, that's what I was checking.
No, she would not.
Okay. Okay, so definitely greedy, but not to the point of self-harm. Or possible self-harm. Okay.
Speaking of self-harm, Rom is going to approach some people in the group and say, okay, this might sound like a weird question, but I'm really curious, and, I can't really do this myself. But, how much would I have to pay someone to just snort some of this poison dust? I just really want to know what happens. Any takers?
Naren looks towards Ristel.
How much you got?
I got some gold.
Rockmon will just say, you don't have that much gold.
I don't know, Ristel's
Ah, fuck it, give it here.
pretty low.
Do you want some gems? I can give you some gems.
Sure.
Alright, I'll give you 3 gems. They're worth 10 gold pieces each.
Jesus.
Who knew that Brom was a mad scientist?
He's an experimental drug dealer.
All right.
It's a new
So-
thing. It's a new thing on the street. Voidling ash.
Travis, what do you want me to roll for this?
Give me a Constitution save.
All right.
Roll.
Okay, roll for drugs.
Fuck yes!
3. Okay.
Bristol commences to levitate.
somebody tie a rope to his leg.
So, like I said,
When we get to the top of the mountain.
I'm so high right now, you guys.
A voice kind of comes out of him.
so Rockmon it has these 2 jars already kind of sealed in this pack, and I can't picture Ristle just kind of reaches down and breaks off one of these little tentacles, or like wraps it, lets it crush into his hand, and just kind of holds this, like almost like wintertime when you have that snow kind of pile up in your hand. He's got like this handful of, it's just a handful of ash, or of voidling ash, and just kind of almost shoves it in his face and goes,
Say
Takes a-
hello to my little friend.
just tries to like take this entire handful into his face, and that made my eyes water.
I.e. Al Pacino.
And he's gonna do that, and it's gonna be one of those, like, he's gonna cough and gag.
He's going to be sneezing for an hour.
Yeah, but
Good stuff.
aside from the burning, just like if you've ever gotten like, if you've ever accidentally pulled a nose hair or something like it's
Damn.
gonna burn and itch and everything, but you're not really gonna get a high or anything like that from
And if you weren't poisoned before,
it.
So Ristle's gonna. I imagine this is taking place sometime during the short rest. Ristle's gonna kind of wait it out for a little bit, and after a little bit, he's just gonna look really disappointed.
Imagine your
In
eyes are
between
gonna
coffee.
be watering a lot. What did we lose?
I think he should tell Brom it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I think we just lost Christian.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, I
There
logged
you
into another game real quick to add Void Dust to my drug list, and then when I refreshed this page, it brought me back into that.
Back to the other game, yeah. It'll only take you back to whatever last game you opened.
Yep.
Void Dust, I love it. Notes for that. Yeah. Dust of
Yeah, but-
Voidling.
Eventually, Ristle will look at Bronze. And, this is no good. It doesn't do anything.
That's disappointing, but
at least for elves.
It really is.
at least we know now.
I mean, if nothing else, we can just collect more of this and sell it to people and say it does something. But
I am pretty good at
Little-
lying.
Little do we know that if a halfling did the same thing, it'd have a 22 strength.
Yeah. That's where
Uh,
Legger went. Yeah.
with that in mind, Ristle would collect like another bottle of this stuff.
Okay. Yeah, you'd be able to. Like I said, it's not gonna dodge. You'd probably have to scrape a little bit to kind of get some of it up. There might be like a couple of pieces of dirt in there somewhere, but I don't imagine you're too worried about it.
Rockmon will warn him if he's going to the one with the shards. Rockmon will warn him about that. So be careful not to stab himself with the
what
shards.
about
Right.
grinding the shards into powder?
Yeah, I mean, Ristle will
sounds
respond to
pretty
that
good.
warning with just like a hand wave, like, "Yeah, I got it," and not really paying it all that much mind, because if he gets some in there, like, it doesn't matter to him.
Extra flavor.
Hmm.
Voidling dust, voidling eye fragments, and bonus stone chips.
Make a little bit of voidling tea.
All right. So, you guys are gonna take a long rest and back on the road.
Short rest.
Short rest.
Short rest. Sorry. Short rest
Yeah.
and then back on the road.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Trudging across the tundra, mile after mile.
Mm-hmm. Someone give me another D20.
Hold on, I've been rolling so well lately. Let me.
So Sarah, okay.
No, 18. I just got in there.
She beat you to it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, unless we want to go with David's, which I'm fine with.
Notice that I never roll those.
Yeah, plausible deniability. I didn't ruin it. Okay, so yeah, you guys are gonna you're gonna continue on to Hammerfell. Pretty uneventful otherwise. I mean, there was the body. It's still every now and then the weather is improving a little. Like every now and then you'll have a wisp or of a beam of like sunlight kind of break through the clouds. But otherwise, it's still pretty dark. Still just kind of gray. Just the occasional break, but not much.
Is the box moving in it of itself?
There's the occasional
Just checking.
yeah.
Did we bury the body?
No.
No, it doesn't sound like it. I mean, unless somebody meant to.
Nah.
Are you gonna bury it on the cliff?
Okay.
Circle of life.
Yep.
Push it off the cliff?
Vulture food.
So somebody might want it potentially, but I doubt it.
I don't know.
Put it back where we found it, face down.
So you guys are gonna get to Hammerfell, and kind of approaching these gates. I mentioned it before, but Hammerfell is kind of built essentially into the mountain. It's really inside the mountain. For the bulk of it is. There's kind of like an entryway, but the mountain itself has large gates, and there's gates on the outside, things like that. So I mean, you're gonna get there, and there's again this kind of palisade, this kind of stone palisade that kind of arches out a little ways. Let me see where you guys are out. This. Let me scroll up a little bit. That's hold on. Delete. Okay. Freehand. All right. Very, very rough drawing because I'm doing computer freehand and my thingy doesn't like to go smoothly. So, as you're coming in, you'll notice
Like a crashing spaceship.
like over here is all mountain. This is all mountainside. It ends up being essentially a pair of almost a pair of half circle walls that come out. So it makes almost there's like an alley, and then there's the inner, like an outer courtyard and an inner courtyard before the main gate.
Bailey's.
Yeah, pretty much. The walls themselves, they're stone walls, almost built straight into the mountain. Overall, they look to be about, this outer wall that you can see looks to be about 12 feet. So not terribly large, but large enough. But the gate the gate itself is thoroughly shut. Kind of going up to it, and I imagine almost Mongo kind of goes up and kind of gives a little bit of a push or a shove. And it's pretty solid. It seems to be locked.
Do we see hinges or we do not see hinges?
Do not.
Is there any kind of bell or other kind of signal out here, or does it look like we just got a knock?
You don't see any bells or anything like that. You're kind of looking up to the top of looking at the gate, You can kind of look up and see where there's spots where people probably stood. Guard probably stood to keep watch. But
Any
nobody's
sally
there currently.
ports?
What's that?
Any sally ports?
Sally ports.
Doors within the gate that open up and let people in.
Or out?
Nope, not that you see.
It's a constrained exit, easily defendable for people to come out and try to clear
Right.
attackers from the main gate.
Yeah, I know. I know what it is. I just never heard that term before. So, yeah, you don't see one.
So you said there's nobody up on the walls.
Nope.
How high are these walls again?
About 12 feet.
Watch out for flying cows.
Let me double check something here.
Vertical jump is your strength mod. Long jump is your strength score. I think.
3 plus your strength mod.
Okay.
Okay.
I could toss you pretty high.
Yeah.
No, Russell's got this. He's going to pop a key point for Step of the Wind.
Mhm.
And he's going to move back about 10 feet. And then he's going to run up and jump to grab the top of the gate here.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Give me an acrobatics. 21. Yeah, nice. Okay. So yeah, you kind of back up and kind of focus in a little bit, and you go running up, and you almost do like the ninja wall run thing. It's just step, 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 and you're able to kind of pretty handedly. You get up there, and you actually get to about shoulder level, and you're able to get both arms up over the wall, and you kind of pull yourself up.
Just kind of peering inside. Is there any activity? Is anybody in there?
So-
Say hello to the Balrog.
Looking in, this outer wall is about 12 feet. Looking in, this inner wall looks to be slightly lower, only about 10 feet. So you can actually kind of see in a little ways. You don't see any movement, any sign of life.
What time of day?
By now, you're getting later in the day. Again, almost coming up on that dusk time.
No torches are lit.
No torches are lit. You can see, even inside on the inner courtyard, you can just kind of see the tops of, not really houses, but kind of smaller huts. But no smoke, no torches. The gate below, or kind of looking down, you can see where the gate that you just jumped over, or that you're standing atop, seems to be barred from the inside.
Is there anything connecting this outer wall to the wall with the inner gate that I could like walk around and get at the inner gate, or would I have to kind of like drop down and then jump back up to get to it?
You just jump down and go back up. You're looking
Okay.
probably about 40, 50 feet between these walls.
Okay.
Jump down. Get back
Yeah,
up
so-
again.
Bristol is going to
Jump up and get down.
look back at the party on the outside.
Mhm.
I'm going to open the gate. One moment. And he's going to drop down inside and try to lift the bar up and open up the gate.
Give me a strength check.
Oh.
10.
Mhm.
So you're gonna kind of, Bristol's gonna kind of hop down. He's gonna get next to this. It's this sizable. It's essentially almost a tree trunk that they've used to bar this thing. You're looking a good 2 feet across on this thing squared, and he's gonna kind of get up underneath of it and just.
Hernia time.
And he's gonna strain and push, but he can get it to go up a couple inches, but he just can't quite get it up off of that ledge. Off that.
Can I
ledge.
use the immovable rod in conjunction with this to kind of whatever upward progress I make, I slip the rod in there,
Mhm.
and then take a breather, and then try again. And just whenever I make upward progress, I deactivate the rod, slide it up, activate it again.
What's the weight on the rod? 3,000 pounds?
8,000 pounds.
8,000. Okay, yeah, it does not weigh 8,000 pounds. Yeah, I mean, you could kind of get it up and kind of set the button real quick. And give me another strength check.
Okay.
20. Nice.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take you a few minutes, but it kind of up and set and relax. And then it'll take Ristel about 30 seconds between each time to kind of catch his breath and reset himself and go again. And you'll have to do this probably about 3 or 4 times to get it high enough that you're above the hook. And once you do, you're able to kind of, you can get this up above the hook. So you've got the bar above the hook and the immobile rod's kind of holding it. Yeah, there you go. So it's above the latch. It's still kind of hanging on the other side, but it's there.
Okay.
How do you want to push it off?
I'd get to one side of it and just try and heave it off towards the inside of this this little courtyard here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, you kind of, because it's a little higher now, or it's considerably higher now, it's a little bit harder to kind of get that same strength and push, because you're kind of going sideways from like almost an unnatural position. But you're able to kind of get it off, and it falls with this just as one end kind of hits the ground.
You could probably feel that outside.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'd just grab the rod back, deactivate it, and stow it in like my belt or wherever, and
Right.
then open up the gate.
Now, this gate looks to be about 10 feet wide, or 10 feet, 10 foot gate, 10 foot wide. So you get the one side off, and you're able to kind of almost pry the door open a little bit, or pry one of these gate doors open a little bit, enough that for the most part, most of you guys can kind of squeeze in a little ways. Skinnier people are obviously having a lot easier. Mongo gets up there, he's probably gonna have to kind of. It'll be a little tight for Mongo to get in. He'll kind of have to push the door a little bit, and you'll see that rod, or that not the rod, the bar just scrapes through the dirt, and it just leaves this like easily at least 4-inch trench where the end of it is laying in the dirt as he's pushing this door open against it. But you guys are able to get in. You are now inside the inner gate.
Not that big of a challenge.
No, not too bad. You are now inside the outer gate. You now have a 10-foot wall, a 10-foot high wall. The gate's probably only about 8 feet wide. A little bit smaller. No, sorry, no, this would be about a 10-foot gate as well. It's about 10 by 10.
Well, if it's only 10 foot tall, then Mongo probably reach up and grab the top of the wall and climb over.
Yeah, probably. How tall's Mongo?
7.5.
Is he
7.5.
Oh yeah, you'd be able to reach it. Give me an athletics check, Mongo. You'll be able to make it over the wall. I just want to see.
He's got it.
how
I
hard
think
you
he's
can
got
fall.
I think he's got advantage on that too.
From what? 23. Yeah, Mongo just kind of reaches up and almost. He basically just kind of reaches up, grabs the top, and just. And he's able to kind of pull himself up almost effortlessly. Looks like he might have done this a time or two.
So I'll straddle the wall and lean down and offer to assist people over the wall.
So Mongo's gonna get up.
Just looks at the wall.
Yeah.
There.
Does Mongo see anything on the inside of the wall?
I was gonna say, so getting up onto this wall, you're gonna look in, and again, it's about 50 feet from the outer edge of this wall to the mountainside, and you can see these houses, these little tiny huts, basically, like little, almost one-room huts. Here and there, you might see like an anvil, or like a smith's anvil. You can see like kind of like a horse's trough over one side, but again, there's no movement, no smoke from the huts, no sign of anything.
No people.
Is the gate similarly barred?
Yep. Seems to be barred here as well from the inside too.
And we don't hear any kind of noises off in the distance or anything.
Give me perception checks.
Heard a rolled mine.
18. Yeah, Mongo's not hearing anything. See, no one's really hearing anything. You can about the only thing you guys hear is like just kind of the wind itself, kind of whipping around this mountain. Just that's about it.
Rissa will call up. Drop down and unbar the gate so we can get in.
Does the owl have advantage on listen or looking checks?
Hearing or sight.
Hearing or sight, so both. Okay. Yeah, hearing and listening. Okay. Yeah, even through the Fey owl, like the owl can kind of hear often. You can hear like there's like a field mouse kind of running around outside the outer cordon or outer fence. And you pick up,
But
bird
not
kinda
inside.
off in the distance. Not inside, no.
So do I see where the inner gate is?
Yep, you're able to find the inner gate pretty easily. The gates don't move. They don't relocate themselves.
Are you not sitting on top of it?
It's kind of off center.
Ty-
So
Or
you
was that
can't
just
see
the
it.
wall?
Inner and outer bailies are deliberately offset.
Right.
Right. I thought you had already gotten up there.
I'd gotten on top of the wall, but
Yeah.
not necessarily on top of the gate.
Well, I imagine once you got up onto the wall, unless you were doing something else or jumping down, then you'd be able to kind of walk over to the gate. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So far, nobody's really.
Strength
Resisting.
check or athletics for lifting the gate,
Give me a strength
lifting
check.
the bar.
Give me a raw strength. 13. Yeah. So the thing is actually really, really heavy. Like even Mongo's kind of having a little bit of time getting this up there. It's kind of. You just can't quite get that oomph. It takes a minute. Almost one of those. Again, like I said, maybe it's like the angle because you're right up against the gate, or you're just not quite centered right, or you're too centered. You're trying to lift it.
Or I rolled bad.
Well, your character doesn't know anything about dice. So meta knowledge.
Shall I roll again?
You can.
Take another attempt.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
and I'm not raging, so I can't do it.
Mm-mm. So it is one of those, and you just kind of go up, and you just can't quite get it to clear that ledge, or to get it to clear that hook.
Rockmon will tell Brom.
The bar is metal or is it wood?
It's wood. So, yeah, it's kind of like the outer one. It looks almost to be one. It looks to almost to be essentially a shaved down tree trunk. So he just keeps attacking. You only have to attack it once.
Holy!
Calm down. The tree's
Rockmon
not
will-
dodging. The crit one doesn't miss.
He's kind of pissed that it wouldn't lift for him. Yet the little 5'5" dude lifted it.
It took Bristol probably about 5 or 10 minutes to get it all the way up too. So,
Okay.
but so Mongo, what are you attacking though? The bar, the wall,
The bar.
the bar. Okay. And
Which
Rockmon,
outfit
you were
does
gonna
Mike
say
wear?
something?
Battle axe.
Yeah, I was just gonna have Brom have uh, have Brom boost Rockmon up so he could get to the top of the wall. He'll go over and help.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Of course, Brahm will roll a 23 or something.
Right. Rockmon, give me an athletics check with advantage.
Mongo has rage issues.
Oh
13.
yeah.
Okay, thank God. Yeah, 13. It takes Rockmon. He doesn't get over quite as easily as Mongo or Ristel did. It takes pretty much Brahm kind of. It's almost one of those awkward things of like Brahm kind of braces against the wall, does like the finger hook, boosts Rockmon up, and then it's one of those awkward like Rockmon kind of walks up Brahm. Like,
Also,
there's
Braum
a foot on
doesn't
his
know
shoulder
exactly
and a foot
how
on
to
his
brace for
head.
talons.
Yeah, you have weird bird feet, don't you?
Rockmon should have left the bag with Brom's future parts on the ground. He foolishly carried it over the wall.
Oh no, I have that.
Hey, you
Oh,
get
do you
it,
have it
Rockmon.
now?
Yeah. Because originally the idea was when we didn't have a bag that you were gonna carry it because you were gonna like tireless yourself. But once we
Yep.
got the bag, it became a lot easier for me to do it.
Okay. So
Okay.
Brahm has it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in my inventory already and everything.
Oh.
All right. Well, then I don't have a good excuse for having a difficult time over the strat.
Just blame your bird feet.
I'm just imagining Mongo struggling with this bar, and then all of a sudden, just in his field of vision, Rockman drops down.
So once Rockmon gets on the other side, he wants to just do an investigation to see if there's some simple way to open the gate that besides trying to brute force it.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna kind of hop down. Give me specifically for this gate, like in and around like the immediate area of the gate. Yeah, give me an
Yeah, to see if
investigation.
there's a. Okay.
16. All right. So kind of looking at this rod or this bar, you kind of look at it and you can almost. It's really tough to kind of make out, but it almost looks like the hooks have kind of rollers built into it. So rather than trying to lift it up, it looks as if you could probably just slide it out.
All right. So he's gonna explain that to Mongo as best he can, and then try to assist him sliding it out.
Push, don't pull.
Mongo, go ahead and give me a strength check with advantage. 23.
Of course.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to slide this out fairly easily.
I could just imagine he tries to lift it, and he tries pounding on it, and then Rockman says, "Why don't you slide it out?" And he puts 2 fingers on it and goes, "Fit."
All right. So we
Yeah.
can
Mongo,
open the
Don't I
gate.
feel silly now?
Mongo pushes the pole door and
Yeah.
damn thing won't open.
So we can let everyone in.
Oh yeah.
So Rockmon definitely wants to look around and see what things look like inside there, and see if it looks like there's been any activity on steps on the ground or anything like that. Signs of water that's recently been added to a trough for horses or anything at all like that.
Give me I'm debating
Later,
between investigation, survival, and perception.
How much dust is laying on and stuff?
Right.
Yep.
Now that we're inside, you could roll like an investigation. I could roll a survival, check for tracks and stuff.
Yeah, I would say investigation or survival, depending on what you're looking for.
All right. I'll do investigation myself since that's better for me.
Much better. So I imagine Brahm's kind of looking for like tracks and food and stuff like that. Rockmon's looking a little bit more. Wynn was looking for like any warm fires. The the how used were the tools, things like that. Rockmon's looking a little bit more at the structures and things. Brahm's kind of looking at the ground and the water supply, that type of stuff.
You mentioned anvils before. Are they rusty?
Hold on. So, kind of looking over everything, yeah, you do see kind of you find like a couple of barrels of some open barrels that seem to be filled with water. Kind of checking it out. It smells and even kind of tastes a little, almost stagnant, as if it was just like collected rainwater. You don't really find any food, no foodstuffs. All the buildings seem to be intact. Doors aren't really locked, but they're not broken down. They weren't broken into.
And we're still not hearing anything.
No, still not hearing anything. Even you can see, like I said, I mentioned there's a couple of major tool items. Like you do see an anvil here and maybe a drying rack over there, but you don't even see like the tools that you would use for those. So you don't see like the smith's hammers or the bellows.
So Rockman will just say, it doesn't look like much of anything's been going on in here. Should we head into the city and try to find someone?
Out of character, really quick, did we ever examine that crossbow bolt that took out that female dwarf?
Nope.
Still in her.
Shit. Okay.
I knew there was something we were forgetting.
And Brahm mentioned that during the break.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I knew there was something.
We actually looked closer at that crossbow bolt that was in her. We just never took it out of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah, Ristle will just shrug and say, let's keep going until we find someone.
It's getting later in the day, right?
Oh yeah. Again, you're kind of coming up on dusk. It's not full up dark yet, but you can see the sun's kind of just starting to get to the horizon.
Do we want to?
A couple hours of daylight left.
Rockmont has dark vision. I know 7 doesn't. Do we want to wait until it's light? Camp here first, or also did what's his name? Rule come in with us?
Yeah, he's kind of followed the group in so far. He seems to be very much on edge.
It seems to be his permanent condition.
More so than usual. And he'll kind of comment on it. It's too quiet here.
I don't know anything about dwarf cities, but this still seems unusual.
Quite.
And even Rule will kind of he'll kind of point out to his look, and he'll kind of point out. You can see like you can kind of make out where people had walked through, or where the high traffic areas were. But a lot of the rest of the grass has almost gone wild. It's a bit taller. It's all probably about mid shin. So it's not super deep, but it's definitely not been maintained. Even the high traffic areas, there's shoots of grass in it. It's kind of grassed over a little bit.
Speaking of maintained, are the anvils rusty?
They don't seem to be like a super high coat of rust, but it's almost one of those. It could use a good cleaning.
Okay, so it hasn't been decades.
No.
No, the gate's only been closed a year and a half.
We've been told.
Well, people have been seen coming in and out within or outside of the last year and a half.
Yeah, I think if Hammerfell had been wiped out for a long time, news would have gotten out somehow.
Yeah.
But
Rock- Sorry,
Russell's
go
gonna
ahead.
say there's no reason to stop here. Let's just keep going until we find something.
But Rockman will say he'll agree, and he'll say, "Everybody gather up for a moment. I'll give us a little bit of an advantage just in case we run into something we don't want to mess with. Get out of there." And he'll cast
Tireless.
Tireless. Thank you. I can't think of the name of it. On everybody, including Rule, assuming he's coming with us.
God, unless you tie him up, he is not going in.
He's not going in.
He agreed to take you as far as Hammerfell Gate.
All right, that's fine. So I won't include him then.
Okay. So you get about 4 hours apiece. Okay.
Before going in, Ristel would look at Rule and say, best of luck to you then. Again, I do apologize.
You too. Hope to actually see you again sometime. Careful whatever's in there. And unless anybody stops him, he's gonna turn to head back out the gates.
Farewell, friend.
And he'll almost give just that absent-minded wave over his head.
With that, I guess we head deeper inside Hammerfell.
Always try to depart friendly from people that do sneak damage.
Let's see, does he have it? He does, okay. Seven's gonna kind of pipe up and recommend that maybe we should take a rest outside. Oh, I can't exactly see very well there. Much rather get as much sunlight with us as we can.
Am I out of character? Am I misunderstanding the nature of Hammerfell? Like, this is built into the mountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Where you're at right now is still outside the mountain?
right,
There's
but it's not much more outside, right?
Right, you're basically up against the mountain.
What do the gates look like?
Intact.
Metal? Wood?
Wood. Well, sorry, the gates themselves are wood. The walls are stone, but you haven't seen any movement of much of anything inside or near it,
And
aside from the occasional mouse.
so there's gates on the outer wall, gates on the inner wall, and there's gates into the city?
Yep.
How tall are these?
These gates...
It's inset.
Yeah, it's kind of inset into the mountain. And
Okay, so there's no climbing over these then.
no. There's no climbing over this wall.
Okay.
Looks to be essentially the width of like a 2-lane highway.
Unless you want to climb over the mountain.
These gates look to be probably about 25 feet wide. There's a pair of gates that look to kind of open outward. About 25 feet wide, probably about 30 feet tall.
Probably beveled on the inside, so they're stronger on outside pressure.
You could open them and find out. If you can figure out how to open them.
Are there any buildings up against the wall here? Like, not the gates, but like set up against the mountain?
To the side.
Just kind of like the huts that you're seeing. But nothing really like up against or nothing built into the mountain itself. There's where the anvil's sitting at. It's kind of almost like an awning that kind of is anchored to the mountain, but that's about it.
Once we have good light, we'll probably do an investigation and see if we can find something.
Well, this light is fine for Ristel. He's gonna look along the edge of the wall, like anywhere where there let's say from one side of the inner wall to the other, up against the mountain,
Mhm.
he's gonna be looking for any sign of a secret entrance. Like, should something get through the outer and inner walls and up against city gates, like,
Mhm.
is there a way for Dwarven defenders to bypass the gate, pop up from like trap doors or something, and then descend on the attackers' backs?
Sally port.
Well, not even a sally port in the gate, like just any kind of trap door or hidden passage in the wall.
Kind of like what was in which one was that? Not Two Towers. The one with the great big giant battle, 5 armies.
Yeah, in the Hobbit.
Sally ports don't have to be in the gate. They could be
To the side.
to the
or somewhere
side.
else. Okay.
Could be in front of. It's just a port that you can come out and perform a sally from.
He's just looking for any hidden entrance.
Give me perception.
All right.
$25. Nice.
Yeah.
So kind of looking around. Yeah, Mongo. Mongo. Not so much Mongo. So Ristel's going to kind of look around and almost kind of walk the length of the wall, kind of almost like kind of running his hand across it, feeling for it. And aside from like the natural kind of undulations of the mountain itself, the rock wall, he's really not going to find anything at ground level.
And he's not spotting any like trapdoors either.
Again, not at ground level, but kind of stepping back. Almost one of those frustrated, kind of stepping back, examining it, looking back and forth. To one side, Ristel's kind of offset from where the inner wall meets up with the mountain, about 4 feet in. If you didn't know it was there, you would very easily miss this. There's almost something of like an access hatch kind of to one side just off the wall. But it's also right about wall, like the height of the wall. It's about 10 feet off the ground.
Okay. And it's 4 feet off the wall?
Yeah, about 4 feet in from the wall.
Archer's port.
Does he see a spot where if he could get up there, there would be a spot to hang from his fingers?
So looking at it, I mean, if you were to get up there, it'd be one of those almost like Ninja Warrior. Like you're just using the tips of your fingers to barely hold on to this. Even just the outline that you can kind of make out only looks to be fairly small. Certainly not enough to stand up through. You'd have to crawl to get through this. But
Okay.
Right there where they pour the boiling oil through.
like Ristel, Rockmaw, most of the party would be able to, like, on hands and knees, get through this fairly easily. It looks to be big enough that a dwarf could get through it hands and knees.
But it's only 10 feet up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I can hand you up there, but I'm not going to be able to go through it myself.
So
Yeah,
this
no,
is
that's
an
what I'm saying.
opening.
We could-
It's not like an entrance that we would have to pry open.
For what?
This access hatch.
Mhm.
It's not an entrance that we need to pry open a door for. It's just an opening.
It's almost one of those. Like, the only reason why you notice it is because the stone covering it seems off. It just kind of, like, out of the corner of your eye, catches you.
So it's a
But it is
camouflaged.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty well too.
Needed a 25 to get to it.
Ristel is going to move back to that spot, and he's going to look back at Mongo and call over, Mongo, give me a boost. I see a spot here where we can get in.
So Mongo will assist Bristol.
Bristol should just be able to stand on his shoulders and easily reach it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if
So-
Mongo were to kind of plant himself against the wall, Ristel would be able to stand on him.
Malgo could put 2 hands against the wall and put 1 leg back, and Ristel's got a ladder.
Pretty much.
Once I'm up there, what do I see around me?
So getting up there, like I said, it's if you've ever had an opening in a wall and just like slid a board behind it or in front of it, basically it seems what it kind of is. You can kind of put your hands on it, and it's not really like locked in place. You can, but it is a little heavier than expected because it is still a stone essentially covering it, holding it. But you're able to more or less kind of push this stone in a little bit, and kind of looking in, you're able to kind of push it in and out of the way, and you see this smaller tunnel, probably about, I'd say, probably 3 to 4 foot squared, 3 to 4 feet up per side. That this tunnel kind of goes in and turns, and you kind of lose sight of it around the corner.
Does it turn toward the gate?
Yes.
Okay. Bristol's gonna look back down at the rest of the party. I'm going to scout ahead here. I think it turns back toward the gate. I'll see if I can't get it open.
Would you like someone to go with you? Could be dangerous.
Aaron?
Naren.
I don't.
Sorry. Rockmon
Uh,
Rockmon would be happy to climb up Mongo and go as well.
I'll send my owl and just to look around.
Yeah, I mean, Bristol's gonna sneak on ahead.
Yeah, you can't move faster than my owl at all. So.
Well, I mean, it's pretty tight quarters, right? I don't think the owl's
Is
gonna be
it?
able to get past me.
It's about 4
Easily.
feet by 4 feet, so I mean, you can pretty well get through it. I mean, it's not exactly comfortable because you're going on hands and knees over straight stone, but I mean, it's wide enough that with a little bit of squeezing, Braum and Ristel could basically kneel side by side.
This seems like the perfect opportunity to split the party and have Braum and Rockmon follow.
I agree. Let's go.
I mean, it worked well last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bristol will kind of head around the corner in this tunnel.
Hold on, let me see something. I have to pull up my notes for this.
Only hired a squirrel
Or a weasel.
or a weasel.
So who all's going inside?
Naren is most definitely.
She is or is not?
No.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Sounds like Rockmon and Braum are the only other two. Seven
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a good candidate either.
Can Mongo even get in there?
It'd be a little bit of a tight fit, but yeah, Mongo could get in. He'd basically fill the tunnel.
He'd be the last one in then.
So who's going in?
Everybody but Naren and Seven, looks like.
Okay. So getting inside, that sound of the wind kind of blowing by, that it kind of echoes through here, just kind of as it's going over the entrance, the opening you made. But it's just behind you. Ahead of you, there's nothing.
Dead silence.
Kind of as you continue on, you get this tunnel kind of goes and it curves around a little bit, and it goes a few more feet past that turn, and then there's a little bit of a ladder that kind of goes down. You go down this ladder, you come out, and you're on the other side of the gate.
Are there? I imagine I'm climbing on the ladder, taking a look around. What do I see besides this gate?
Give me a perception check. 24. Okay. So as you kind of get down off this ladder, you come out. The first thing you notice is the air is stale. There's this eerie, almost deafening silence. The only thing you can hear is just your own breathing. Your teammates kind of coming down the ladder behind you. Even kind of the shifting of your leather armor. I don't think any of you I don't think any of you have metal armor. So
No.
and you're looking around and you hear nothing. As you look around, you notice everything seems to be covered in just a fine layer of dust. As you're kind of coming out of this room, you kick something in the dust on the ground, and you almost trip over it. But you look down, there's these small fragments of what look to be bone. Give me a medicine check. So Ristel, he kind of kicks these slivers and kind of reaches down and picks up one of the bigger pieces. It's kind of long and skinny, possibly from a leg or an arm. But kind of looking it over, looking at the joint, the head of the bone. It looks to be, Dwarven maybe?
Dwarven bones would not be skinny.
Dwarven
Okay.
bones would be solid. This does seem to be a fairly solid bone.
But no bodies, just bones.
Yeah, not that you see.
Look at the bones.
No blood?
Yeah, is there any kind of blood splatter? Like darkened spots at least?
No, there's nothing. Just this
White-
thick layer of dust and almost dirt over everything.
If a white bunny shows up, I'm running.
So Rockmon and Brahm have caught up at this point.
Yeah, I imagine this would be kind of as you guys are climbing down the ladder behind him.
Okay. How dark is it? I mean, Rockmon, I think everybody has dark vision, right?
I think everyone
Yeah.
inside the gate has dark vision, and that's the only source of sight you guys have right now. So everything has this kind of grayscale filter over it. You're not seeing any light inside.
So Rockmon will say, just say to both of Brahm and Quiet Dog, to Brahm and Ristel, do you want me to light things up in here a little bit, or do you want to be a little cautious and stay in the dark?
I say we err on the side of caution.
Yes. Whatever did this might still be around.
Well, shall we try to figure out how to open the gate then?
Let's do that.
Well, you can give me. Someone give me an investigation. Checking out this gate. How do we open this thing? 25, yeah.
Nice.
So Rockmon kind of looks at it. Unlike the walls, these gates are stone and solid. Rockmon kind of looks up, and you can make out the top of this gate, and you can see kind of not latches, but you can see there's some kind of mechanism, ropes and pulley system, and kind of falling around. You see there's like a side kind of a gate room off to the side. And you kind of head inside. Essentially, there's not necessarily like a series of levers, but you do see like these 3 levers. The left 2 are down, the right one is up.
How far up are those?
The levers? Or
Yeah.
no, ground level.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I
Like
mixed
they're
up.
right next to you. Yeah.
My dog is going crazy, barking at the deer, so I'm
That's
trying to
okay.
get him to shut up. So, yeah. All right. Well, shall we try these levers? See if we can figure out get these gates open.
Yeah, might as well.
So you said two were up and one was down.
The left 2 are down, the right one is up.
While you guys try those levers, I'm just gonna prepare us like a backup plan in case anything comes and tries to mess with us. I'm going to cast Tiny Hut as a ritual.
Mhm.
And just have a little tiny hut ready in case something tries to murder us.
Well, that'll take a minute to cast, but once you do, nothing can enter it. Like,
Well, it
Uh,
takes
Creatures
it-
I choose can enter it.
right.
it takes 10 minutes plus the cast one action.
Casting time, so it takes 11 minutes total.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Alright, they might open the door before I even finish this. I just want to have this started just in case.
Let me see something here. Where are you putting this at? You going like right up against the wall, or are you gonna kind of keep away from it a little bit?
Probably like 5-10 feet from the wall.
Okay.
Or the edge of the sphere would be, or the dome would be
Right,
like 5 or 10
right.
feet away.
Okay. So, Rockmon. You have 3 switches in front of you, 3 levers. Which one are you throwing?
All right. Well, if no one else has an opinion, I'll just try the first left.
The left one. So you're going to throw the left lever is going to go flip up.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna like go crazy and just throw it. I'm gonna get it and try to get a sense of what's happening.
Yeah, and as you do, you go to push this, and you do got to put a little bit of force behind it. It's not something you can just throw, but you give a little bit of a push, and when you get it all the way up, you feel something clicks into place. And out by the gates, you can just hear almost stone on stone. Is something sliding. And you hear something else click. You hear something click into place. Or something else clicks into place.
Okay. Oh, we can try the middle one.
Okay. You throw the middle one up. So again, it takes a little bit of force, and you push this lever forward, and you feel it click, and again you hear stone on stone, something just dragging, thump, and you hear something drop into place. Clicks.
So Rockmon will just say to everyone, well, sounds like we may have locked the gates more completely. Shall we try reversing all of them? Anybody have any ideas?
Until we have a better idea what they do, just keep flipping until something happens.
You still have a third lever.
And it's already up, right?
Yep.
So that sounds good. We can try to bring that one down if it'll go.
So you're going to try to pull the third one down. Okay. So you pull this third lever, and this one's got a little bit more force behind it. You got to almost brace yourself. And you feel it click into place, just like the other two. And outside, or out by the gate, there's going to be this almost ear-shattering sound as just this deafening, or not ear shattering, sorry, just this deafening rumble as the ropes suddenly go taut. A little bit of a almost that harmonic vibration, and both of these gates are just going to start to drag open across this ground, and you're going to start to notice like these walls or these gates are easily 2-3 feet thick, and just these gates are going to drag across the ground as light starts to flood in through this gate. The little bit of sunlight outside is going to... those of you inside, you're actually going to have to almost shade your eyes. The sudden light in your face almost hurts. It's like if somebody shined a flashlight in your face.
Rockman's got to definitely step back a little ways from the gates while they're opening, just to make sure nothing falls on his head.
And you will hear the occasional pebble or something like that might have been like the top edge, or it kind of falls to the ground. But otherwise, these gates are going to open up fully. And once they get completely open, you're going to hear another click. And now now these mountain gates are open.
I guess we'll call for the rest of the troops to come in.
All right. So Naren and 7, these gates are open.
Yes.
Mongo's still there, right?
Nope, he crawled in.
Oh, you crawled in? Okay, sorry. That's what me trying to do battle with the dog.
How
That's
far
okay.
away are they from where
you were standing?
Naren and 7 were?
Let me do this. Clear. Okay. We'll say...
Like, would I be able to see them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the
I'd
doors
say-
aren't just
so
like
the party
open and I don't see anything.
Right.
You
Naren
know,
would be right
Brahm,
about
Mongo, and Rockman are just on the other side of the gate.
I'd say
Oh, okay.
Naren would be right about where that X is at. To put the gate.
Okay.
That is not line. That is freehand.
So is everybody inside then?
I'm assuming yes.
So we left the other gates, or we didn't try to open the other gates. So I'm
all
thinking,
the gates are open.
Yeah, all 3 gates are open now.
okay.
So, let's see.
So then should we?
The switches are more or less over here. So Rockman threw those open. Your side entrance was kind of over here. Now that these gates open, they make kind of these natural tunnels, or natural hallways right there, right in front.
Yeah, Rissel's about 50 or 60 feet inside the city from the gates. Just trying to see what all he can see.
Sorry, like that. So, Ristel's inside, further in, right? As far as his dark vision would still let him see the gate, basically.
Pretty much.
So as these gates are opening, the light kind of floods in behind you. So we're getting on towards the end of the day. So the light's actually going to kind of come even further in. You're going to see a good ways in here. Probably, even from where you're standing, you're going to see about another 60 feet past that in completely normal light. And again, you can finally hear something, anything. It's just the wind behind you, the air kind of flowing in over you. Looking down, you kind of see the air rushing in and kicks up little bits of dust at your feet. Looking into the city, there's no sign of movement, no sign of light. Not even torches.
Rockmon will just say, do you think, I assume we're going to go further in and continue to investigate, but do you think it's more likely that we're going to be accosted by something coming in from outside, so that we should close at least one of the gates, by something inside, and perhaps we should leave the gates open so we can get out in a hurry if we need to?
I could also send my owl into the city or whatever and try and get a better look without us actually going in there.
That sounds like a good plan as well. I tend to think maybe leaving the gates open would be the safest thing at this point. Anyone else have an opinion?
I agree mostly. My only concern is that if something is terrible and dangerous down here, and these gates were potentially closed to keep it in, having them just wide open might be not the best idea.
I don't think the dwarves left and sealed the city. Otherwise, we would have. I think we would have heard of that.
I didn't say they left.
So you think maybe they couldn't leave and somebody else sealed the gates from the outside?
Or they sealed it from the inside, knowing that they couldn't escape.
When,
It's a possibility, that's all I'm saying.
Or they sealed the gates with the beasties in with them, determined not to release the beasties to the rest of the world.
It was said that, like, this place is like the front to keep things from the Underdark from coming up, right?
Yes. Yeah. Hammerfell is both a cutting edge, no pun intended, weapons designing city, as well as essentially the front line for preventing creatures from the Underdark coming up, from the armies of the Underdark coming to the surface. Primarily because the access to the Underdark, Hammerfell essentially sits at the largest of them. You could march armies through the Underdark accesses in Hammerfell.
Well, we could vote. How do we make a decision? Seven, I can provide a light source for you so that you're not at a disadvantage in terms of seeing things. That might draw some attention to us.
He has the spell Dark Vision and prepared.
Okay. He was the one who was saying he was wanting to wait for light, so.
Yeah, he was wanting to take a rest outside. Partly so he had more light on his side. But I think that's a good spot to stop for the night, too. So with that, like I said, we'll wrap up this session. You guys made it to Hammerfell and inside. What to find next? I don't know.
Lots and lots of treasure and no monsters.
So we're gonna wrap it up for the night, folks. Like I said, we kind of end on a mysterious note. What's going on inside Hammerfell? All right. With any luck, I hope to see you guys next week. Bye.